with CKND Television. The talk of the town is the big Jets trade they made with the New York Rangers, which added toughness, grit, and character to the Jets lineup, and Mike Smith's comments said it all. Gone is Eddie Olczyk, a proven 30-goal scorer, but a player who is now joining his 4th NHL team in 9 seasons. This season, Olczyk wasn't finding the net as often, just 8 goals in 25 games and 20 points in total. In return, the Jets welcome with open arms from the bright lights of Broadway, Chris King and Ty Domi. For a small man, Domi is one of the NHL's heavyweights, and earlier this month took on Bob Probert in one of the most celebrated NHL punch-ups in history. Domi doesn't always score with his fist. He can score goals as well, and has 2 so far this season. Like Domi, Chris King is more known for his toughness and his leadership abilities rather than his offensive capabilities. But King has shown the ability to put the puck in the net. 4 goals in 13 games during the '92 Stanley Cup playoffs. And so head coach John Paddock now has the toughness that many have said was the Jets' missing ingredient. And tonight, live on CKND, it's the new-look Jets against the Boston Bruins. Molson Jets Hockey on CKND is brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft. Get out of the old and into the cold. Good evening, Manitoba. Welcome to Molson Jets Hockey on CKND. Tonight, it's the Jets against one of the original 6, the Boston Bruins. Hello, everyone. I'm Joe Pascucci. You know, it's a little ironic that as we're about to welcome in a new year, that we get our first look at the new Winnipeg Jets. And the Jets should be a different hockey team with Ty Domi and Chris King. Heading into this game with the Boston Bruins, the Jets are 2 points back of the 4th place Edmonton Oilers in the Smythe Division, and the Oilers will be playing later tonight. They are hosting the Montreal Canadiens. One of the interesting angles to tonight's game is the battle of the rookies. 2 of the hottest rookies in the NHL will see tonight, the Jets' Teemu Selanne and the Bruins' Joe Juneau. Now, that story has almost been forgotten because of the big trade. Ty Domi and Chris King acquired yesterday. They arrived in Winnipeg late last night. Domi will certainly see more ice time here with the Jets. Has only played in 12 games all season. We'll talk with Domi in our first intermission, but earlier tonight I had an opportunity to speak with Chris King about his role with the Winnipeg Jets.
Well, actually, John, I haven't had a chance to sit down and actually talk about it. I found out yesterday at noon, and yesterday he was basically mostly traveling to get here, but I think they want me to continue what I did in New York. That was much of a checking role and physical type game. I'm sure they didn't get me here to do something I'm not capable of, and I'm pretty sure that taking the body and being aggressive and good in my own zone is something that they're looking for me to do.
The thoughts of the newest Jet. Chris King will be wearing number 17 tonight. Ty Domi will be wearing number 20. Let's get the thoughts on tonight's game, the trade, and a lot more from the 2 men who will call the action, Bruce Buchanan and Jim Poplinski.
Thanks, Joe, and good evening, everybody. Jim, want to get your thoughts on yesterday's trade. I don't think the Jets' toughness will be questioned anymore.
Well, you can look at this trade in 2 ways. One, you can get to the numbers, and from a numbers point of view, I don't think anybody can argue that Olczyk has definitely got more skill and goal-scoring ability. But from a chemistry point of view, something that I think Winnipeg can certainly improve upon, this trade looks pretty good as far as I'm concerned.
New Bruins coach Brian Sutter seems to have the chemistry working in Boston, has the Bruins in a first-place race with the Nordique and Canadiens in the Adams division doing a fine job, and 2 of the big reasons are Adam Oates and Joe Juneau.
Adam Oates is a great playmaker. Joey Juneau has got the ability to convert what Oates does. Oates has got 38 assists. Lots of teams have a combined total of centermen that don't have those kinds of numbers. Juneau, who led the Canadian team to a silver medal as their leading scorers, continued to do this throughout this National Hockey League season, and that's one of the reasons that the Boston Bruins will challenge the Montreal Canadiens this year in the Adams.
Third member of the unit is Dmitry Kvartalnov, and he's also a pretty good hockey player and one to watch tonight.
No question about it. Some great skill, a little bit different Boston Bruin team, more speed, more agility, more passing, more quickness, not as much grinding, but one thing you can count on with Brian Sutter is a great work ethic and 60 minutes of hard play.
But of course, the main topic of conversation today was yesterday's deal, and with more reaction, here's Joe.
Thanks very much, Bruce. Joining me now, the head coach of the Winnipeg Jets, John Paddock. And John, first of all, what does this trade give you? Does it give you the toughness? Does it make all your players an inch taller and 10 pounds heavier?
Well, I think it gives us some toughness. I don't know, that's sort of a saying, but I guess in a way it's true. Some teams, sometimes you go out and play bigger when you have certain guys. This overall toughness has been a factor 2 or 3 times this season, I think, not too much more. But we have been tired of seeing Tamo get abused beyond the rules. So I think this gives us a dimension that we have been missing.
Was this a trade that was forced upon this hockey club because of the fact the referees weren't calling it as tight as they were earlier in the season?
Nothing to do with how the referees call it at all. I don't think they've changed one bit from the start of the season. And I personally think there should be holdups. I think there should be some interference because otherwise guys get run through the boards. Anything to do with the referees. But I don't think that if Mario Lemieux cross-checked across the head, there would be something more done. When Tamo gets cross-checked across the head, nothing's happened. So those are things that they've always been called, or sometimes they're missed or whatever. So it doesn't have anything to do with the new rules. I think the new rules, I think the referees have refereed the games fine.
Is this the final ingredient in the soup for the Jets, or do you still have some things to add to the pot?
I don't know for sure. We still have some players that haven't played up their potential, or certain positions that haven't played up their potential. I guess we'll see how this goes, but you know, we might miss, very possibly could miss Eddie's goals. He wasn't scoring a lot, but he's a goal scorer, so we certainly got to have some production out of continued production of Davidoff, some more production of Thomas. Hopefully that Keith keeps going along with Alex and Tamo, and we should have enough goals.
John Paddock, thank you very much. Good luck in tonight's game.
Thank you.
And we'll have the opening face-off, the game between the Winnipeg Jets and the Boston Bruins, coming up on your Molson Jets telecast right after this.
Best wishes from Granny's Poultry.
Bars in Winnipeg and the province offer you a variety of entertainment choices and surroundings. One thing's for certain, it just doesn't get any better. And now they have something in common. It's the new Designated Driver Program, a cooperative effort between the Hotel and Restaurant Associations of Manitoba, the Liquor Commission, Alcoholism Foundation, and MPIC. A common designated driver system and procedure throughout Manitoba. So, whether you're enjoying a little country or the current dance floor.
Big Jets are about ready to play. A busy night in the NHL. 7 other games on the schedule. Montreal and Edmonton coming up later tonight. The Islanders leading Toronto 1-0 in the second. Chicago out in front of Detroit 4-0. That is in the second. And the Rangers and Washington tied at 1 in the second. And let's go to the Canadian national anthem.
Once again, good evening, everybody. I'm Bruce Buchanan along with Jim Poplinski in the broadcast booth. A walk-up crowd of about 1,000 to watch the Jets and the Bruins tonight. The starting goalie for the Bruins is 38-year-old Rajan Lemelin, his 15th season of pro hockey, and he's into his 10th game of the 92-93 season. 27-year-old Bob Essensa makes his second consecutive start for the Jets. He's 5-1 in his last 6 games. The referee tonight is 36-year-old Rob Schick, the linesman Mike Speak, and Lyle Seitz. Jamnoff and Juneau to face off at center. First period is underway. Wesley to Rayborn. Solani, Jamnoff, and Shannon the forward line for the Jets. Wesley stick handles to center. Port slaps it in off the arm of Essensa. Bortalnoff in the corner for Adam Oates, the top offensive unit on the ice for the Bruins. Bortalnoff put it through the slot. Here's Juneau with Newman and all over him. Bork in from the point. His backhander went wide. Jamnoff to Solani, and he rolls it to center ice. Wesley off the boards, picked off by Solani. Into the Bruins zone. He's pinned on the boards by Wesley. Juneau, lead pass for Bortalnoff. Ulanoff back on defense for the Jets. Hands it off to Oates. Slap shot and a stick save by Essensa. And Ulanoff clears it for the Jets.
Solani spent 20 seconds trying to pick his helmet up in the other corner. Bruce, obviously he's not adhering to the new rule.
Adam Oates behind his net. To the point, Housley was waiting. Spinorama move against Juneau. Quick shot into Lemelin. Don't think he saw the shot, but made the pad save and holds on for the faceoff.
Reggie Lemelin and the Boston Bruins have got a great road record. One of half a dozen or so teams that are 500 or better on the road. Part of the success of this road record has been the Bruins' record against Smythe division teams, undefeated coming into tonight's game. Reggie Lemelin with great position here and some big goal pads. Picks up the deflection and has to feel it through 4 inches of foam before he smothered the puck.
Bill Housley second on the Jets in shots with just over 100 coming into this game. Chris King on the ice, his first shift as the Winnipeg Jet. He's on a line with Steen and Davidoff. Chris King is bumped and knocked down by Darren Kimball. Sweeney shoots it in for Boston. Ulanoff behind the net for Winnipeg, around for Davidoff. He couldn't tip it out against Sweeney. Ulanoff goes the other way for King. And he forces it out against Poulin. Lemelin out to play it with Steen giving chase for Winnipeg. Reed backhands it off the boards to center. Davidoff back to his own line to Ulanoff. Lead pass for Steen. Took it off his skate. Gives it to King on the left side. Back to Steen. The slap shot. Hit the leg of Shaw and he's hurt. Ulanoff shoots that one off Poulin to the corner. Davidoff for the Jets. Knocked down by Sweeney, and the Bruins clear it just past the 2-minute mark. It's 0-0. Sweeney bumped at center. Here's Tkachuk coming off a strong game right into the backhand, and he was poke checked neatly by Rajan Lemelin. Brent Hughes, the former Jet, a penalty behind the play, but Keith Tkachuk very nearly gave the Jets a 1-0 lead.
And Tkachuk was fortunate he didn't get a roughing penalty right after this breakaway. Watch how he jumps up the middle right here with speed, and the KG veteran Lemelin with a perfectly timed poke check right there. As Leach put the grip on Tkachuk, he threw the left hand. Unfortunately for Tkachuk, Schick had already called a penalty on Murphy for slashing. Look at that poke check by Rajan Lemelin. A perfectly timed poke check to rob Tkachuk on the breakaway. Gord Murphy with a slashing penalty. This guy, Bruce, pay attention when he's on the blue line. Not very many pucks get by him, whether he's batting them out of the air or taking them off the glass. Very impressive defenseman. Tkachuk with some great scoring against Minnesota a few nights ago. He seems to have broken out of what was a bit of a slump. And also, as you noticed in the warm-up, wearing the A, a 20-year-old, that tells you where the future of the Winnipeg Jets is considered to be from their coaching and general manager staff, I'm sure.
Jets seem to solve their power play woes on Sunday. 3 for 8 against the North Stars. Here's Solani. Off the skate of Shannon came to Olesen. They want him to shoot the puck more. Housley through the slot. Jamnoff back to Olesen. Takes the shot to Jamnoff. Shannon standing in front of the net. Jets on a power play. Shannon trying to set up Solani. Ford couldn't clear it for Boston. Jamnoff to Housley to Olesen right point. Jamnoff side of the net for Shannon. Let it go to Solani in the corner. Jets with control in the Bruin zone. Shannon behind the net. Put it on Bork's stick. And the veteran defenseman who turned 32 yesterday rolls the puck down the ice.
Ray Bourque with a nice backhand. If you're clearing on the backhand, particularly when you're killing a penalty, you want to make sure it gets over the point man. If it doesn't, you find yourself in big trouble.
Olesen to the acting captain Housley. Stop pass Solani. Ripwood just wide. And Reed pokes it out for Boston.
Winnipeg's power play has generated more scoring opportunities than in the last few games. As you mentioned, they had great success against Minnesota. I thought in the previous games in Minnesota and against Calgary here on the 23rd, there was a lot more scoring opportunities created, even though goals weren't counted for.
Here's Steen to Tkachuk in front for Borsato. Backhand level in the save. And he holds it.
Borsato with some great speed and an ability to go to the net. Watch how he times it perfectly, something the Jets have worked on in practice. You have to do it 5-on-5 as well. Borsato right in there, and if not for Lemelin spreading out and watching the play, this could have resulted in a goal. Borsato starting to put some numbers on the board. Had an injury to his hand and is just nicely back, and I'm sure starting to feel more in game shape. When you're hurt, no matter how much you work out, you can't get feeling into game shape until you put a few under your belt.
25 seconds left in the power play. Bourque hit the linesman. Seitz trying to clear it, but the Bruins did get it down ice. Housley for Winnipeg to Thomas Steen. Nice move at the blue line. Steen to Newman and scores!
I don't know what everyone thought watching this one, but I said to myself, oh, you should have gone straight and taken the shot right here. Steen with a great move, and then he starts to come back. Newmanen, who has followed up the play perfectly, beat Lemelin on the short side. Another good look at it as Steen puts the brakes on. Sometimes that hurts you. It didn't in this case. A perfect play.
Teppo Newmanen with his 4th goal of the season for the Jets. We have another winner in the Safeway Score and Win contest. Marjorie Ock of Winnipeg filled out a ballot at her local Safeway and attached a label from Kellogg's Corn Flakes. Congratulations, Marjorie. You've won a Mikasa Orchard Odyssey dinnerware set on a power play goal by Newmanen. 700th point of Thomas Steen's career. Solani trying to center it. Shannon behind the net for the Jets. Solani along the boards. Bumped by David Shaw. Shannon, the Jets 34, has it to Jamnoff. He lost control, and Adam Oates starts back for Boston. To Juno. His slap shot deflected. Went off the backboards right to Essensa, and he hangs on. From Winnipeg Arena, this is your Miller Genuine Draft telecast. Just announced, as we mentioned a few moments ago, the 700th career point for Steen as he assists on the power play goal by Newmanen. His 4th of the year. Housley, the other assist, at 4:15 to give the Jets a 1-0 lead on the Bruins. Oates in the corner. Pinned by Borsato. Newmanen and Kortalnov looking for it. Juno's quick shot goes wide. Shannon off the boards, and it bounced over the stick of Juno. Don Sweeney turns in front of his own net. Flipped it off the glass. Boughton at his own line for Winnipeg. To Newmanen. David Shaw. Lead pass for Oates. Juno following up on the play. Oates in the corner. Had it taken away by Jamnoff. Here's Solani speeding away for Winnipeg. Couldn't get the pass to Shannon, and the Jets are offside on the play with 5:31 gone in the first period.
Well, a number of different players not in the lineup. As far as the Boston Bruins go, Cam Neely's still out indefinitely. We'll talk about him in a while. Ruzicka not on the trip. Stumple with a separated shoulder. Roberts not here. Weimer and Ashton skated this morning but didn't dress. Troy Murray is hurt. Randy Carlyle coming back, and there's a look at Ty Domi. The crowd reacting to the newest Jets first shift in Winnipeg.
And really seems excited about playing for John Paddock again. Played for him in the Rangers organization in Binghamton. We'll hear from Domi in the first intermission. But right now, his first shift is the Jets. Eagles slides it into Bruins territory. Jets on top, 1-0. Murphy. Great hit by Eagles on Leach. And then he nearly had a scoring opportunity. Now he's bumped behind the net by McKim. John Druce, who scored his first goal against the North Stars in that Jets win Sunday. McKim to Featherstone. Just banked it out against Olsen. Mike Lawler in his own zone. To Druce at center. Olsen joining the rush. Takes the pass and was just offside. Or Olsen would have been in alone.
Well, there's been a lot of talk about the trade. Ty Domi and Chris King, I've been very impressed with them so far. The thing that has impressed me is the way that a lot of players, when they're traded, particularly back to Canada and to a market like Winnipeg or Quebec City that is not as big as one they've come from, they have concerns about taxes and all sorts of different things. Domi and Chris King each talking about how excited they are to play and happy to be in Winnipeg, looking at helping this team. Nice positive comments initially, and that's something as a coach and a player you just love to hear about your city.
Hines to Donato. Has Brent Hughes with him. The former Jet pass for Hughes, and he failed to pick it up. Wesley at the point. Drips the shot into Essensa, and he gloves it for Winnipeg.
Donato's nickname is Prime Time. He's got 3 game-winning goals so far this year. When he's been called upon in big game situations at every level of hockey that he's played, Ted Donato has counted with the big goal. One of his claims to fame, Bruce, is that he was on The Price is Right a few years ago, and he made it to the Showcase Showdown. But
Did he win it?
No, he didn't come up with the primetime nickname on The Price is Right, unfortunately for him.
Guess that's why he's still playing pro hockey.
Well, I'm not sure a refrigerator and a dishwasher can get you through life.
Good check to Borsato. Has Brian Erickson with him. Borsato stick handling for Erickson, but he was tied up by Wesley. Brent Hughes. Hard pass for Hines. Ulanoff keeps his eye on him. And a Towsley for Winnipeg. For Kachuk, he's stuck behind the defense. Turns in the corner against Wesley. Borsato is hit by Ray Bork. Puck is loose in the corner. Kachuk can't get his stick free from Donato. Now took a whack. And the Bruins control it. Hughes to Hines. Drops it to Donato. His shot. Rebound off Essensa. And the Jets' Ulanoff slides the puck down the ice. Icing is waved off as the Jets and Bruins both make a change. 12:27 left first period. 1-0 Jets on a power play goal by Newman. David Shaw to Adam Oates. Kortolnoff heading for the net. A backhand shot. Wasn't much room on the short side. Sweeney. Puck loose in the slot. It's poked out by Newman. Here's King. Fires it in. Handled by Lemelin. Tempo picking up. Davidoff in the corner. Thomas Dean already with an assist. Put it right on the stick of Sweeney. He sends Kortolnoff away. Led the International League in goals last year in San Diego with 60. Shaw knocks it down at the point. Was wrestled to the boards by King, and Jets get it out. Don Sweeney drives it right back in for Boston. Evgeny Davidoff. Oates into forecheck. Newman goes back to Boughton behind the net. Lead pass. Here's Davidoff on a break. Bruins defense trying to catch him. Davidoff shoots level in the save. Murphy went crashing into his goaltender. And Lemelin is face down on the ice as the net was dislodged.
Reggie Lemelin went right against the net with his entire back exposed as Murphy slid to strip the puck from Davidoff. Reggie initially put his hand back as soon as he got organized. Here's a look, a perfect pass, and Davidoff trying to get a little bit of room. Right here, Murphy dives, and watch Lemelin's back hit the post. Boom, right there. A jolt that hit directly in the middle of Reggie Lemelin's back. No padding there, and he's certainly feeling the effects of that. To his feet, doing a couple of stretches. The stretches back that was hyperextended in reverse. Here's another look as Davidoff tries to open up a little bit of room. Does a good job in getting the shot away, and Lemelin, concerned about the puck initially and his body secondly, pays the price for that. Andy Moog obviously knows the kind of pain that Reggie Lemelin can endure. He didn't look too worried about having to go in the net, even though Lemelin took a real blow to his back.
Jets win the faceoff. Olofsson a slap shot, and Lemelin made a good stop. Jets keep it in. Jamnock trying to go to the net, now behind the goal. Tried to center it, but it hit the stick of Lemelin. Bort's pass. Bounced off Solani. Glenn Wesley just missed a check from Solani. McKim is dropped by Jamnock. And Leach is in to say something to Jamnock.
Andy McKim getting called up from the minors. Ends up getting jolted by Jamnock. McKim a little bit off balance as Jamnock took him to the boards. Just before that, Andy McKim had done a good job in stopping Jamnock from coming out front. As I mentioned, just called up from Providence. This guy's a tough little customer. He had all of his front teeth knocked out last January while playing for Salt Lake. Didn't miss a shift. Ended up having to have his jaw wired shut for 6 weeks without any teeth in place. He said he wasn't too popular with a lot of new people that he met, but he managed to overcome that. And now he's got a full smile, but the same sort of gritty attitude that Boston and a lot of other teams have come to admire in players.
After all that, a body check won't bother him. The Bruins dump it in. Ulanoff flops it around the boards for Shannon. McKim ran into him. Lead pass for Solani. Jets looking for that breakaway pass here in the first, and this time they are called for icing.
On October 11th, 1979, this guy played his first National Hockey League game at the Winnipeg Arena, and on that same date, he scored his first goal, one of the 1,043 points that are currently in front of us all. Ray Bourque, a great player, great in traffic, finesse, body checking, passing. He can do it all. And he has, without doubt, made a tremendous contribution to the Boston Bruins.
13 consecutive years he's been on either the first or second All-Star team. What a record. Housley to Borsato. He scoops it into the Bruins zone. Drews in the corner with Poulin. Eagles side of the net. Bourque after him. Dumps it into the corner. Housley pinching in from the point. Puck squirts free to Bourque. Off Domi shin pad. Ulanoff for Winnipeg. Kimball also on the ice. The Bruins tough guy. Bruce picks it up. Has Domi on the right side. Centers and Domi scores!
Well, we talked about first with Ray Bourque. John Paddock with a rare smile for his former player and now current player, Ty Domi. Domi does this just like a goal scorer. Watch him come from the right side all the way to the net. He's going here full bore, and all of the 200 pounds of this less than 6-foot frame does it perfectly. Standing ovation for Ty Domi. He may not score 10 or 20 or 30 this year, but that one feels just great for Ty Domi.
Ty Domi with a big smile on his face. Mrs. E. Policelli of Winnipeg is the next winner in the Safeway Score and Win contest by attaching a proof of purchase from Maxwell House Instant Coffee to a ballot provided by our local Safeway. Mrs. Policelli has won a General Electric microwave oven. on Ty Domi's first as a Winnipeg Jet to give them a 2-0 first period lead. John Druce with the assist.
In Ty Domi's first 2 games in the National Hockey League with the Toronto Maple Leafs, he counted for 42 penalty minutes. Well, in his first game with the Winnipeg Jets, he comes up with a real beauty, a perfect pass by Druce. I believe he picked that one out of the air, Bruce. Domi demonstrating some good hand-eye coordination and the nose for the net as well. He'll remember this goal for years to come.
Went down the bench for some high fives after scoring.
And Solani looked at him and said, no, 1 second. I didn't know that this was part of the bargain, but I'll take it.
Newman into Darren Shannon. Bruins keep it in momentarily. Now comes to Jamnoff. He's behind the defense. Has a breakaway. Jamnoff scores!
Jamnoff showing great speed. Watch how he gets behind all the Boston Bruins. This has happened a few times tonight. Jamnoff with tremendous speed as the puck gets turned over. Shannon didn't get it out. A bit of a broken play, and as Jamnoff comes back, he finds himself in a great position. This move doesn't generally work with some real quick hands, though, and a lot of shifts. Lemelin gets confused, and Jamnoff puts it by him.
And the Bruins are taking their time out as the Jets have jumped to a 3-0 lead. Mrs. Nancy Ellenbaugh of Winnipeg is the next winner in the Safeway Score and Win contest. Nancy filled out a ballot at her local Safeway and attached a label from Sunright Blue Label Apple Juice. As a result, Nancy has won the Best of TFL. Brian Sutter and Tom McVie have convened a meeting at the Bruins bench. It's 3-0 Jets just past the midway mark of the first.
Jamnoff with his 8th goal. Watch how many moves he makes here. The stick back and forth. Reggie Lemelin, not knowing whether he was going to shoot, go forehand or backhand, didn't cover as much net as he would have liked. And that ended up resulting in the 3-0 Winnipeg lead.
Jamnoff's 8 from Shannon and Newman in at 10:37. Don't forget the Jets jumped out to a 5-0 lead against the North Stars on Sunday, and they're out to a 3-0 lead on the Bruins here tonight.
Boston had a 5-2 lead in their last game against the New York Rangers, and in the last 7 minutes of the third, the Rangers came back to beat them 6-5. They'd like to start the same sort of process now on the Jets.
Joe Juneau behind the net, watched by Darren Shannon. Murphy came back for the puck. The Glenn Featherstone missed most of last season with a back injury. The former St. Louis Blues, Jamnoff to Solani. Made a move and was checked by Quartalnoff. Newman hooks it by Murphy and took a punch from the Bruins defenseman, and I think he's getting a penalty. Roughing will be the call on Murphy from Ross.
Drive your car.
When you get a little older, sweetheart.
I'm as old as you?
Oh, a little sooner than that.
Grandpa, have we always sold our cars in Steinbach?
Of course, honey. For over 40 years now, we can always count on good old-fashioned value.
What's value?
I'll explain that when you get your first car.
Okay. Grandpa, I love you.
I love you too, honey.
A tradition of value for generations.
Gordon Murphy takes 2 minutes for roughing. Let's have a look and see if you'd call it that way as well. A bit of a push and a shove, but kind of even to me nonetheless. Schick right on top of things, assesses the Boston the second penalty and the second to Murphy. Gives the Jets their second power play chance.
Jets 1-for-1 with the man advantage. Thomas Steen. Side of the net for Kachuk, back to Steen. To Olofsson, setting up, slap shot, and that's kicked away by Lemelin. Kachuk behind the goal. To Davidoff. Back to Kachuk, to Olofsson, slap shot. Lemelin the save, Kachuk on the rebound. Backhand was stopped in traffic. Olofsson hustles in from the point. Kachuk to Steen in the corner. Back for Olofsson. Wrist shot off the chest protector of Lemelin and slapped out by Ray Bourque.
Olofsson with a couple of shots in this power play already. It's exactly what John Paddock wants him to do more of. Shoot the puck.
Bill Hauser actually drew an assist on the second Jets goal, scored by Domi. And here's Housley with the puck to Jamnov. 1 minute in the Jets power play. Jamnov dropped it. Nobody at the left point. Hines coming off a 2-goal effort in New York City. Shannon takes a hit along the boards. Jamnov gloves it to the corner. For Davidoff, Sweeney intercepts off the glass. Housley for Winnipeg. Sweeney gets to the puck and dumps it to center. Newman to Housley. Donato stays with him as Housley couldn't get free from Ted Donato. Solani slides it in. Lemelin out to play it. Bounces to Newman at the point. Across to Solani. Adam Oates takes over for Boston. 15 seconds left in the penalty to Murphy as Oates picks some seconds off the penalty clock. Ray Bourque behind the net. Comes dangerously in front and now fires it off the glass to center. Hit the linesman's feet. Oates picks it up for Boston. Has Reed going to the net. Puck loose in front and it's chopped away by Housley to Shannon to Jamnov. Solani streaking down the left side. Drop pass to Housley, moving in, shoots, and he fired it over top of the net. Solani shoots. That bounced off a leg wide. David Shaw for Boston dumps it down the ice, and the penalty is over to Murphy. Mike Lawler, 6:20 to play first period, 3-0 Jets.
Boston a couple of times, Bruce, getting caught on Jamnov's goal, and more importantly in their transition game, taking wide turns, not getting back into the play quick enough.
McTinn for Leach, and it scores!
They got into the play quick enough on this one. Leach, who has proven to be a solid two-way player after a trade between Washington and the Bruins that sent Randy Burridge to Washington. Take a look there as he comes in a little bit late. It's always nice when you can drive deep, one person to the net, and the third guy comes with nobody on him. A backhand that Essensa gets caught going the wrong way on. And Leach ends up getting Boston on the board.
Steve Leach had 31 goals last season. That's his 13th of 92-93. And the Bruins are on the board, drilling 3-1. Waller to Kachuk, who played at Boston University. He shoots it in for Winnipeg. Erickson giving chase. Back in the corner to Borsato. Kachuk to Borsato, shoots level and a pad save. Jets coming close again. Featherstone backhands it to center. Leach rolls it to the Winnipeg line. Ulanoff circling in his own zone as Pantalayev heads off for the Bruins. Ulanoff across to Waller. He quickly cleared the zone. Hits Davidoff at center. Steen with him. Kachuk on the left side. In for Steen. Couldn't reach it. Murphy for the Bruins. Off the corner boards to Oates. He sends Juno and Wesley away. Bortolnoff with him. Juno trying to beat Newman and got a shot away. And Essensa made the save on Juno. You're watching the Jets live on CKND.
Rookies doing the bulk of Winnipeg's scoring. 4 really. Boughton only has 3 goals. Nonetheless, some impressive statistics from the young guys on the Jets and the future of this team. Great skill there.
Face off to the left of Essensa. Jets leading 3-1. The shots are 13-5 Winnipeg here in the first. Here's one of those rookies Jim was talking about. Boughton around for Shannon. And the puck comes out to center. Ray Bourque to Glenn Wesley, who missed 11 games with a foot injury. His 3rd game back for Boston. Jamnov forechecking for Winnipeg. Shannon along the boards to Newman. To Jamnov. Solani goes to the net. To Newman. The slop shot kicked away by Lemelin. Boughton showing some soccer skill as he kicked it to Solani. Bruins defense recovered. And it's Wesley starting out. To Adam Oates. Tied for 3rd in the NHL scoring race. Had it swept away by Solani. Don Sweeney's shot. That's kicked aside by Essences. Sweeney again for Boston. To the front of the net, and Jamnoff backhands it out. 3:50 to play first period. Jets have a 2-goal lead. Dave Shaw on the attack. Centers it. Juneau's shot was blocked by Boughton. Juneau again. Lost control of it. Jamnoff for Winnipeg. Pass too far ahead for Chris King. Adam Oates to Don Sweeney. Goes wide on Davidoff. Bortolnoff, a one-timer, in essence, they made the save. King for Winnipeg. Dumps it into the Bruins zone. Murphy behind the net. Goes the other way. Steen is there for Winnipeg. Tried to center it. That hit Murphy. Steen trying to fight him off. He does, but Donato was in to help out. Took an elbow from Davidoff. Don Sweeney trying to use the glass as he was dumped by King, and the puck went into the seats. Now for what's coming up in our first intermission, we hear from Joe Pascucci.
Thank you very much, Bruce. I'll be talking with the newest Jet, Ty Domi. We'll also profile the Jets' Keith Tkachuk and have highlights of the game between the Rangers and Capitals and the Hawks and Wings.
See that, Jim? We tell Ty is going to be on in our first intermission, and he scores a goal.
Things keep going like that, he might end up coming up here all the time.
Face off to the left of Lemelin. 2:59 to play first period. Jets 3 and the Bruins 1. Steen and Donato are waved out. Chris King will take it. Actually, Steen just waved out. Donato comes back in for Boston. Gord Murphy behind his net for Hines. Bruins couldn't clear it. Featherstone deep in his own zone, scoops it out. Ulanoff for the Jets. Pass up the middle to Steen. He was forced back. To Housley at center. Rink wide pass to King. Into the Bruins zone. Taken to the boards by Murphy. Brent Hughes to Featherstone. Donato at center. Shoots it into Jets territory. Ulanoff with Hines trying to forecheck. Ulanoff played it back to Housley. Good move on Donato. And he leads the Jets up. Pass on the right side for Borsato. He was held up by Pantalaya. Wesley looking for Hines. And the puck came out. Lawler at his own line for Winnipeg. Up to the Bruins line. Tries to go in after it. Eagles took a run at Bork. And Eagles will get a penalty here late in the first period. And charging the call from Rob Schick.
Mike Eagles left his feet on this body check. Watch where he comes into your picture right here. Leaves his feet. Definitely a penalty. Rob Schick with a perfect angle on it. He's seeing right where our camera was. When he sees the feet leave the ice, he's calling a penalty on 36. Boston, a great opportunity. 1 minute and 51 seconds remaining in the first period. And the Bruins scratching back here. Started off rather quickly, and Winnipeg took the heat right out of their fire. Came on with 3 quick ones. Boston got a nice goal by Leach coming in late on the play, and Sutter now would sure like to see another one before the period ends.
Brian Sutter's power play, the Bruins power play 13th in the NHL. The Jets doing a good job in penalty killing. They're 4th in the league. Bruins were 1 for 6 in their last game against the Rangers. Jets backhanded in. 1:40 left in the first period, 1:50 in the penalty to Eagles, so it will carry over if the Bruins don't score here late in the first. Wesley got as far as the line. Newmanen couldn't clear it. Bortolnoff looking for Oates. They put it in deep. Boughton for Winnipeg. Off the boards and down the ice. The Bruins have Oates, Bortolnoff, and Juneau up front. Bork and Wesley on the point. Bork, the captain, to Adam Oates. Former Blue and Red Wing slops it in as Boughton had him lined up. Bork off the board, knocked down by Borsato. He brings it to center. and slides it in. Less than a minute to go in the first period. Jets change their penalty killers. And out comes Ray Bourque for the Bruins. Fires it in. Shannon kicks it behind the net for Ulanoff. He goes the other way, knocked down by Juneau in the corner. And referee Schick says his stick was above his shoulders, which will bring the face-off way back in the Bruins zone. 41.7 seconds remaining in period 1.
Winnipeg has had some absolutely outstanding penalty killing of late. Check that one out over the last 5 games. Over the last 10 games, they're 48 for 51, works out at 94% efficiency in their favor. And that's the reason that overall in the National Hockey League, the Winnipeg Jets have moved up to 4th best in the league when it comes to penalty killing. Ray Bourque is very effective, something the Jets have tried to get their defensemen to do more in the power play is shoot the puck. If you want to see what that translates into, take a look at Ray Bourque's statistics. 137 shots, results not only in goals, but assists due to rebounds and scoring opportunities galore.
Face off to the right of Lemelin. Oates and Borsato won by the Jets. Newman at the point, backhands it behind the goal. And the Jets will try and hem the Bruins in the last 32 seconds. Adam Oates across the Jet line, left it for McKim. His shot. Leach parked on the doorstep. Oates behind the net. Into the corner for McKim, who's lost a glove. To Bourque at the point, fakes the shot. Back in the corner, McKim was picking up his glove, and Newman is trying to clear it, but Bourque hustled over. Here's McKim moving for the net. Leach couldn't tip it. Shannon for Winnipeg. Off the board for Borsato. 5 seconds in the period. Borsato takes a look. He's by himself. Cuts to the slot. Couldn't get a shot away. And the first period comes to an end.
The Boston Bruins have been a very gritty team over 60 minutes for every game so far this year. The Winnipeg Jets showing a great start of their own. And although they were outplayed in the initial 60 seconds of the first period, boy, they sure came on and have dominated.
15-7 in that first period, outscoring them 3-1, and one of the 3 Jet goals scored by my first intermission guest, Ty Domi. And Ty, welcome to Winnipeg. And you know, the great ones have timing, and that goal in the first period, certainly that, timing.
Well, it was, and Johnny Drews made a great pass, and I was just going on net, and he put it around my stick and directed it in.
You couldn't have asked for a better opening to your appearance here in Winnipeg than scoring on your first or second shift.
Well, it's just great to contribute, and you know, it feels good to be playing again and helping the team.
Okay, what about your thoughts to the trade? I know that today you weren't too pleased with one of the headlines in the papers calling yourself and Chris King goons.
Well, I think that's a pretty strong word, is a goon, but I guess I've had a label since my career started, and you know, it's hard to shake it, and you know, I got to deal with things, and I was in the biggest media capital in the world in New York, and but they never came out on the front page and never said goon, so what am I in for here? But you know, I'm really excited to be here, and you know, a great bunch of guys, and I just want to help the team win.
What has John Paddock told you, or has he spoken to you yet?
He's spoken to me several times, and you know, he just wants me to play my game, go up and down, and work on my game. And I haven't played in a long time, you know, so it's an adjustment for me out there. And you know, that one goal there, the goal they scored, I should have had my man, and I kind of let him go. And you know, it was my fault on that goal, and thank God I got a goal. But you know, it's just you know, playing as ice time is confidence, and confidence is pretty much the whole game. And if I can get my confidence, I can help this team.
You're certainly going to get a lot of ice time here. I noticed that after you scored the goal, the first player off the bench to congratulate you was Timo Solani.
Oh, he's a great guy. You know, he's really happy, and you know, I'm here to help all these guys, and they know that, and it's a great feeling when they're happy for me.
Okay, Ty Domi, good luck the rest of the game. Good luck the rest of your career as a Winnipeg Jet, and congratulations on your first goal in the first period.
Thank you very much.
All right, the Jets' Ty Domi. Coming up next, we're going to feature another one of the Jet rookies, Keith Tkachuk.
Play Score and Win at Safeway. When the Jets score on CKND, you could win a 20-inch Emerson Combination TV VCR with unified remote control. From Mikasa, a set of elegant dinnerware from the Orchard Odyssey collection. The Best of Tefal, featuring the popular Juice Master, or a set of Dirt Devil vacuums from Royal Appliance. At the end of each game, we will award a Canadian Holidays vacation for two to Walt Disney World Resort. To enter, fill out a ballot at Safeway and watch the Jets on CKND. Score and win. Another reason we're today's better way.
I like to think I'm a pretty smart businessman. But running the business all day and doing the accounting at night wasn't working out for me or the company. Now I let a certified general accountant look after all my financial matters. He's got the accounting expertise and the computer training I really needed. And that gives me time for the really important business in life.
Certified General Accountants, wherever sound financial decisions are made.
You know who's got it, don't you?
Take advantage of Manitoba's largest selection of Pontiacs, Asunas, Buicks, and GMC trucks. True extra savings are being passed on to you as the remaining 92s are priced to sell. Come in and see us today. You've got only one place to cash in on the savings.
You got it. All the best of the season from Park Pontiac.
Yes, we care about the environment.
Do you know what being power smart is?
Well, I'm not going to freeze. Look, show us a way that doesn't change our life.
Being power smart is easy. A set-back thermostat for your furnace lets you save energy while you're asleep or when you're not at home. And they can be programmed to come back on just before you wake. We can all do it without changing the way we live.
Look, that is easy.
Come on, Manitoba!
Do your part. Be power smart.
And welcome back to the Winnipeg Arena. One of the Jets really looking forward to tonight's game was Keith Tkachuk. That's because he's a Massachusetts native. His favorite team is the Boston Bruins, and boy, he would have loved to have scored in the first period. Tkachuk joined the Jets. He became an instant favorite of the fans. And that's because the 20-year-old native of Melrose, Massachusetts, doesn't shy away from physical contact. Still a rookie, Tkachuk has had the usual ups and downs.
You're touted as a tenacious player. You have to do it every game, and 84 games is a lot of games, and it's just all mental. You have to prepare yourself every game to do your job, and you know, whatever it takes, you have to do. And the type of player I am, I have to be tenacious in order to be successful.
Growing up 5 minutes away from Boston, it was only natural that Tkachuk be a big Bruins fan.
I always wanted to go to the games, and it was always on TV, so I got a chance to watch it. And you know, I became a big Bruins fan, you know, all through high school, in college. Even when I was drafted by Winnipeg, I was still a Bruins fan, but now that's kind of fading away for what, you know, for what reason, I have no idea.
And Tkachuk's favorite player? Cam Neely, of course.
He would be a crasher, a banger. He could score. He did everything, and, you know, it really took a tone on how I play, and, you know, I mean, if I keep playing that, you know, I'll be here, and that's what got me here, and so I just gotta keep doing that.
Tkachuk was still in high school when the Jets made him their first-round pick in the 1990 entry draft, and he did have to look on a map to find where Winnipeg was.
You know, a lot of people don't have much to say about Winnipeg, but, you know, I don't think they've been here and experienced what it's like, and, you know, it's a small city. The people are great. They love hockey, and, you know, it's exciting to play under. It's a good situation. I'm far away from home. It's good and bad. You know, I don't get a chance to see my family, but it's good to be on my own. You know, really mature. I'm only 20 years old, so you know, it's good to get on your own.
Like many of his teammates, Tkachuk has plenty of international hockey experience. He played in the Olympics and in 2 World Junior Championships. Even though the Americans fell just short of an Olympic medal, the experience was worth it.
It was the best thing, you know, everything, I mean, just in Albertville, it was my family was over there. You know, you don't realize it until, you know, you come back and everybody says, oh my God, I seen you on TV in the Olympics. We did so well, and well, we finished 4th. It was fun, but it was disappointing also.
No disappointment for Tkachuk at last year's World Junior Championship as he captained the U.S. team to a bronze medal, and he saved his best game for Canada.
That was a big game for us last year in the World Juniors. We beat him, and we went on to a bronze medal, and you know, it was fun to beat Eric Lindros and you know, some of the other guys. They had some big players, and it was a lot of fun.
And so was going to see his father at work. Tkachuk's dad is a fireman in Boston, and recently Keith was given a tour of Winnipeg Fire Station number 1.
Are your trucks in Boston like this, or do you have?
Yeah, I get the front is isn't as big. There's no front like that. It's just
are they
down.
like
yeah, just like this.
Well, every kid's dream is wanting to be like their father, and you know, I used to be excited going over to see him, picking him up or whatever, and it was fun going on the fire engines. You know, I always wanted to go over
We
that.
used that our old ladder just for a ladder that extended straight up, and
That's how back in Boston.
yeah.
Pretty simple.
But guys that go in there, they've got to wear, they've got harnesses to wear, and they're strapped up there. And
Maybe when my career's over, I can be a fireman. Back in Boston, though, a little too cold here.
Definitely no argument here. Coming up next on Molson Jets Hockey, we'll have the complete rundown.
Breakfast, high in protein.
It's on now, the main event. Multitech's biggest sale event of the year, with prices slashed on electronics in our 49 stores across Canada. These prices are unbelievable. The Emerson Compact CD player with programmable memory, $79. The RCA VCR with remote, $198. And the Toshiba 28-inch stereo monitor with remote, $598. Look for Multitech's main event ad in your newspaper and make it your main shopping event of the year.
Keystone Ford is closing the books. On 92 with the best deals of the year. Bob Kosminski says, sell everything! That means buy any new car or truck and your down payment is zero. Your monthly payment is zero. And your interest paid is zero till next spring. Escorts, Tempos, Taurus, Aerostar, and Explorers. Every new car and truck in our lot. All with zero down, zero payments, and zero interest paid till spring. Plus, when we make a deal, we'll pay off your trade regardless of what you owe. Get the best deals during the final days of 92. Rush to Keystone Ford today.
On the Reimer Express out-of-town scoreboard, Montreal and Edmonton just about to get underway. We'll be keeping a close eye on that one. Elsewhere in the NHL tonight, Chicago way out in front of Detroit 5-2. Gene Principe back at our CKND studios has the highlight.
Eddie Olczyk not in the Rangers lineup tonight. Adam Graves, however, always in the spirit of giving. Asked Dmitry Kristich. Rangers up 1-0 when Bobby Carpenter ties this one at 1 after 20 minutes of play. Second period, Rangers retake the lead on a rebound. Doug Waite puts it home to make it 2-1. Rangers lead this one 3-1 late in the second period. As for Chicago and Detroit, Brent Sutter opens up the scoring past Tim Cheveldae to make it 1-0 for Chicago. It was 2-0 when Igor Kravchuk beat Cheveldae with a wrist shot to make it 3-zip. And then Brent Sutter strikes again. He gets his 6th of the season, 2nd of the evening on a couple of rebounds. Chicago up by a score of 4-0, and they had numerous chances in the first period. Jeremy Roenick with the great shift. Tim Cheveldae, great save. 5-0 Chicago after 1 period of play. Second period on the power play. Red Wings break the goose egg. Steve Chason scores, and this one is 5-2 late in the second.
Thanks, Gene. Elsewhere in the NHL, Quebec leading New Jersey 3-1. That's in the third period. Our score here, the Jets leading the Boston Bruins 3-1. Second period action is next. This is your Miller Genuine Draft telecast.
For 4 days only, Future Shop Discount Superstores is holding over at all its giant superstore locations their biggest Boxing Day sale ever. Future Shop has over $50 million of brand name audio, video, computers, and appliances. And right now, you can save up to 80%. At Future Shop, you get the absolute lowest prices on the best selection of brand name products. Plus, total satisfaction or your money back. Hurry down to the biggest Boxing Day sale ever and save up to 80%. Sale ends Wednesday. Don't miss it.
Celebration 93. $25 million in prizes. Who will win one of the 10 cruises? Who will win the Corvette, the Lincolns, the Explorers? Who will win one of the 5 prizes of $1 million? And who will win the grand prize of $5 million? And who will become the first millionaire of the year? Celebration 93, $25 million in prizes.
Welcome back to the Winnipeg Arena. Bruce Buchanan along with Jim Poplinski. The Jets came out flying in the first. The scoring summary is brought to you by Coca-Cola Classic, the official soft drink of NHL hockey. 1-0 Jets on Teppo Numanen's first of the year on the power play at 4:15. Then Ty Domi made his presence felt at 10:11. And then just 26 seconds later, Alexei Zhamnov on a breakaway to give the Jets a 3-0 lead. Bruins got on the board at 14:01 after Brian Sutter called a timeout. Leach is 13th. And it's 3-1 Jets after one period of play. Winnipeg with the advantage in shots in period one, 13-8.
Bob Essensa didn't have much work to do until roughly the 8-minute mark of the opening period.
Bruins started the second on a power play. It's now over as Wesley's shot is blocked, and here's Eagles. In front for Erickson, can't get to the puck. Eagles shoots, and he slapped it wide. As Eagles came out of the penalty box and had a partial break. Bortolnoff drops it to Oates. In front to Bort. Essensa down to make the save. Juneau side of the net. Bortolnoff ripped one. Went off the post and out of play. Can't believe he didn't score.
A real nifty little pass that started with Adam Oates. Got the puck down deep, and Bork left it right here for Juneau. As Kartelnov was coming in, he had nothing but net. Essensa covered his share. The puck went off the post, and the score remains the same.
Bortolnoff shaking his head. What an opportunity for the Bruins to close to within one. They don't. It's still 3-1 Winnipeg. Sweeney shooting it in. Teppo Newman in for Winnipeg. A goal in the first with his fourth of the year, but first on the man advantage. Delaney was grabbed by Sweeney. Darren Shannon in the corner. Pushed to the boards by Shaw. Bortolnoff for Boston. With Juneau and Oates. Had it swept off his stick by Bowden. Juneau in the corner. Goes behind the net. Jamnoff staying with him. Newman in for the Jets. High off the glass to Shannon. And out come the Jets. Jamnoff at center. Pass went behind Solani. And Lemelin plays it ahead for Don Sweeney. To Adam Oates. Bortolnoff, wrist shot. Essensa was down. The puck went over top of the net. Shot to the front of the goal off the skate of Ulanoff. Housley pokes it to Ulanoff behind the net. Pass on the right side for Davidoff. Housley into the Bruins zone to the backhand. Turns away from a check for Chris King in the corner. Shot off the mask of Lemelin. Brent Hughes left it for Donato. His shot off the glove of Essensa. Hughes tried the wraparound, lost control. Hines to Donato. For Hughes, Murphy in from the point. Turned to try and shoot. Was knocked down, and out come the Jets. King to Davidoff. Has Housley with him. Davidoff looking around to the backhand. Lemelin down. And Murphy got across to make the play as Housley took the shot on the short side.
Davidoff pretty much had a 3-on-1. He kept hoping something was going to open up. The Bruins did a great job in covering the extra man. And Murphy finally came in, forgot about the puck, and simply took Davidoff out of the way. Lemelin was down to cover the shot from Housley. Davidoff has got a great wrist shot. And he perhaps should have taken it a little bit sooner, as Timo Solani has done throughout this season. Look at these numbers. Impressive on the goals front. Lindros, who missed a month with a bad knee, is the closest to him. Solani tied with Joey Juneau, and he is set, if he continues his pace, to break Bossy's rookie goal-scoring record.
Puck behind the Boston goal. Eagles stepped into Bort. And good collisions in the corner. Domi was involved. And Elias to Bort. To Steve Leach. Fights off Waller. Leach behind the net. Domi ran into him. And there's a penalty upcoming. Hooking is the call from Winnipeg Arena. Your Miller Genuine Draft Pelican.
Hooking penalty behind the play. Take a look at this body check. Domi with a real beauty on Leach. Leach had to feel his body after that one, and he's still feeling the effects. When you get hit square in the chest like that, it isn't uncommon to tear the cartilage in your ribs. And let me tell you, that really smarts, and for a long time.
Bruins on their second power play. They're 0 for 1. Mike Eagles sends the puck down the ice. Bruins power play with Donato, Juneau, Bork, Bortolnoff, and Oates. Bortolnoff. Stick handles across the Winnipeg line. To Oates at the point to Bork. Wrist shot right onto the stick of Numanen, and he shoots it down.
The Winnipeg Jets not doing anything fancy on the penalty killing part of the hockey game other than getting the puck down when they get the opportunity. They don't want to score goals. They want to prevent them.
Bortolnoff, rink-wide pass to Adam Oates. Forced by Boughton, came to Donato at the point. Just kept it onside. Juneau to Oates into the slot. Shannon was there for Winnipeg and slides it down. 1:04 left in the penalty to John Druce.
And just like anything else, when you gain confidence, you tend to get better at it. You have to always check yourself, though, that you don't get to a point where you get overconfident and do things outside of what your capabilities are. With the success that Winnipeg's had, I'm sure John Paddock has mentioned that to the penalty killers.
Court to Bortolnoff. First ever Russian drafted by the Bruins. Numanen behind the net for Winnipeg. Fires it down the ice. Good job penalty killing so far by Winnipeg.
30 seconds left in this power play opportunity, and with the exception of a couple of shots directed towards the net by Bork, Boston hasn't mounted much in this 2 minutes.
Oates for Wesley. That was broken up by Ulanoff, and a delayed offside on the Bruins. Adam Oates scores points no matter what team he plays for, Jim.
Absolutely correct. Steve Yzerman says Oates is the best passer in the National Hockey League. You probably have to take away the two guys above him. If you look at the other company that he is in, boy, oh boy, can he feather a puck pass. He is just great at delaying, and he seems to create open ice. When he does that, somebody jumps into the open, and the next thing you know, it's on the tape, and a scoring opportunity arises.
Has a 4-game point-scoring streak heading into this one. Shooting the puck more this year, and because of that, Oates has scored more goals. 21 coming into tonight's game. Pass on the right side for Leach. He has the Bruins goal tonight. Pushed to the boards by Lawler. Ulanoff knocked off the puck. Panalayev centers of the Kim shot. Absence of a save on McKim, who's also left shaking his head. What a chance.
I thought I saw the puck rolling over the top of Essens' pad. McKim was right on the doorstep. Positions himself perfectly. And as the puck comes out, Essens really sprawls to make the save. Panalayev delivers it to him. And Essens does have to reach behind with the glove hand. Obviously a sensitive backside detected that puck, and Essens put the glove on it to get it out of harm's way.
Great stop by the Jets goalie. Just 4 seconds left in the penalty. Bruins control it. Back to the point. Wesley slap shot. Fired just wide. Murphy on the other side. His shot deflected. Essens to the save. And the puck comes into the Jets goalie, who holds on. McKim pushing and shoving with Ulanoff. Oh, the Bruins didn't really threaten until the dying seconds of the power play, and then they had a couple of pretty good chances.
Alan, we get back to talking about shooting the puck. McKim shooting from the doorstep earlier. Domi deflected in front of the net to get his, and Murphy right here simply drifts the puck at the net. Essens makes the stop, and then it comes back off of Ulanov's chest, and Essens once again has to cover up. He didn't have a lot of work in the first 10 or 15 minutes of the opening period, but he's been tested a little bit more in the second. The Jets have only counted for 2 shots. So far in the second, the Bruins have had 6.
Puck in the corner for Leach. Jets back at full strength. Eagles pass hit a Bruins skate. Panalayev couldn't do anything. King can't get it out. Now King knocks Panalayev down. And there's more extracurricular activity after the whistle.
Chris King, a role player in a lot of ways, very, very strong and committed to a disciplined style of hockey. Right here, he puts the arm on Panalayev after Panalayev gets in his way a little bit, and you'll see very quickly who gets the worst of this exchange. Boom, right there. The old left arm puts the opponent to the ice and to the ice very, very quickly.
Well, one thing King and Domi bring the Jets is some penalty minutes. The two of them led the Rangers last year. Adelayev and King off right now.
Brian Sutter from Viking, Alberta. He's used to these types of cold snaps. I'd like to see his team get a little bit hotter as the second period wears on.
Bill Housley behind the net, watched by Oates. Off Newmanen's stick. Juno along the board. Jamnoff played it back for Newmanen. Oates giving chase. Oates back to Bork at the point. Slap shot, scores!
Clearly a lot of Boston Bruin fans in the building this evening. Ray Bork, who, as I mentioned, just loves to shoot the puck. 142 shots coming into this game, and when he gets the opportunity and there's a question, he just lets her rip. This one, he simply blows the puck by Essens. Essens are coming out to challenge. Bork accepts that challenge, and with his head up, he drifts a nice low one to the stick side of Essens. That'll bring this game one goal closer.
Fifth goal of the season for Ray Bork, who recently missed a couple of games with a lower back strain, but his back wasn't strained on that one. Jets had a 3-0 lead. It's now 3-2 early in the second period. Bork from Oates and Juno at 5:35. So Oates extends his point streak to 5 games. Juno, who had the other assist. Couldn't get a pass across. Out come the Jets team with Davidoff. 2-on-1. Over to Davidoff. The shot and a nice stick save by Lemelin, who came sliding across to rob Davidoff. Juno was back on defense on that Jets 2-on-1. Juno controls the puck. Fakes the shot at the line. Gives it to Adam Oates. He stops in the corner. Still has control. Back to Shaw at the point. His slap shot. Pad saved by Essenson. Davidoff picks it up for Winnipeg. Nearly lost the handle on it. Bill Housley. Back to Thomas Steen for Davidoff. Whacked out of the air by Shaw. Here's Poulin for Boston. Beating down the right side. Try to cut to the middle. But the Jets, Housley has it. Mike Waller. Back to Housley. To Thomas Steen. Solani now on the ice. Steen was knocked down, hooked it to the point, but Waller wasn't in position. Olesen at his own line for the Jets. Waller behind the goal to Olesen, dumped it in the corner. Poulin was there for Boston. Centers it. And Alayev got his stick on it, went wide. Sweeney in from the point. Hops away from Solani. Behind the net. Sweeney at the point to Murphy. Traffic in front. Slop shot. Another save by Essens. Rebound. And Essens has stopped for Tolnock. Boston really pressing here in the second period. And Waller relieves the pressure by icing the puck. As Featherstone is back to touch it. Ray Bork has scored in the second. Bruins are within a goal at the arena.
Peanut butter. Peanut butter?
You let Domo fill your car, and you get Jump to the Pump service and an opportunity to collect one of the finest genuine stoneware collections available. The Harvest Moon Stoneware Collection. This top-quality stoneware comes in classic white to beautifully complement any decor. Each week, one of these fabulously crafted pieces will be available for only 99 cents. That's right, only 99 cents. Start your collection today.
Very best price, great service too. We jump to the pump for you.
They used to be the big bad Bruins, very close in height and weight to the Winnipeg Jets, but look at the difference in age, 2 years. That's a big number. The Winnipeg Jets, with all their new additions, the rookies that are doing such a great job for them this year have got a lot of flexibility, more than what the Boston Bruins have at this particular stage in the Bruins development.
Housley sends Ulanoff away for Winnipeg. They lead 3-2. 11:55 left, second period. Hughes rubbed Ulanoff out of the play. Banks it off the board to Donato, has Hines with him. Donato carries on for Boston. Top side of the net. Hines picks it up. Featherstone goes for the goal, but Eriksson had him tied up. Housley for the Jets. Ahead for Tkachuk. He's roughed up at center by Murphy. Borsato missed a couple of Bruins checks. Eriksson into the corner, tried to center at a rolling puck, and Hines steered it away. Tkachuk went between a couple of Bruins and appears to have hurt himself. Tkachuk slowly to the Jets bench. Domi after the puck, and nearly swept it in as Lemelin had trouble controlling it. Then tried it on the wraparound, and a penalty upcoming to the Bruins. Ty Domi has been a factor offensively for the Jets in this one. Tkachuk in pain at the Jets bench. He had a couple of Bruins lined up, missed them, and ran into the boards.
Brent Hughes went to hit Tkachuk earlier and caught Gord Murphy. Tkachuk thought he would return the favor to both of them right here. They split the difference, and Tkachuk caught his shoulder on the glass. When you're going straight at the boards in that way, you can really ring your bell or separate a shoulder very easily. Tkachuk may have done a little bit of both. Gord Murphy with his third minor penalty of this game, and 34th penalty minute of the year, ends up getting banished for 2 for holding. Reggie Lemelin has never been great at playing the puck, and here's an example of an area that he can sure work on. Decides to poke it and misses it with his glove, and Murphy right here puts the clamp on Domi. Otherwise, Domi may have been able to do the old wraparound.
Jets 1 for 2 on the power play. Poulin, his shot over top of the net. Dave Reed, who scored a shorthander in New York a couple of days ago, up front killing the penalty with Poulin. Olsen forced back. Olsen and Housley on the point. Solani, Shannon, and Jamnov up front on this Winnipeg power play. Olsen drives it in. Shannon and Reed in the corner. Solani, puck bouncing in front. Jets track it down. Came to Olsen at the point. To Jamnov, edge of the circle. Solani standing in the slot. Shannon across to Housley. His shot. As Lemelin came sliding across, he missed the target. Olsen over to Solani. To Housley. Jamnov. Olsen. Slap shot. Blocked by Poulin. Good move on Olsen. But Housley got back. Bruins fans in attendance were looking for a Jets penalty. 53 seconds left in Gord Murphy's infraction. Bill Housley for the Jets. Donato take the slap shot. Drops it back to Don Sweeney. David Shaw takes a look and shoots the puck down the ice. 25 seconds to go in the Winnipeg power play.
Bill Housley, who ordinarily scores the bulk of his points in the power play, has been held off lately.
Dean back to Borsato. At the point to Housley. Side of the net to Davidoff. In the corner for Borsato. That's picked off by David Shaw with his 6th NHL team. He shoots it in. Newman in behind the net. Penalty is over to Murphy. Still 3-2 Jets. 9:05 left, second period. Davidoff shot. Blocked at the defense by Wesley. Raymond Bourque. Pass off the glass to Murphy. Newman in at center. Murphy dumps it in. Igor Ulanoff. Missed Newman in with a pass. Wesley for Boston. Sends it right back in. Adelaia back to Murphy. His shot hit Eagle. Ulanoff. Pass was behind Davidoff. Puck in the Bruins zone. Lemelin thought about playing it, but Wesley saw him play the last one.
The New Year's Eve special. This year it features the Edmonton Oilers, Thursday, December 31st at 4:30. Tickets are available by calling 780-SEAT.
And that should be a real barn burner, Bruce. I know that Louis DeBrusque in Edmonton had a couple of questions about the recent acquisition of Domi and King. Could that be foreboding at all for some sort of battle here on the 31st?
Well, Ty Domi will be ready to battle. He's looked pretty good offensively tonight for the Jets. Has a goal as they lead it 3-2. Ty Domi was the second-round draft choice by the Toronto Maple Leafs. 23-year-old winger.
I don't know whether Domi will continue the penalty pace that he currently has going. Something that John Paddock has made very clear is that Domi can't expect to be playing 10 or 15 minutes a game. He has to adjust to his role and be satisfied with what the Winnipeg Jets need to be successful, not necessarily what he needs to enjoy the game best for him.
Jets wanted us to pass along. There are still some good seats available for that Oiler game. Leach whipped one just wide. I think Essence got a piece of it. Lawler tying his man up behind the net. Leach trying to get free. Looks at the referee Schick. Mike Lawler is dumped. And it's chopped to center by Borsano. McKim outside the line. Backhands it in. Ulanoff for the Jets. Left it in the corner. McKim is there for Boston. Vanalayev, side of the net. Bortolnoff in to help. Stops on a dime. Backhands it to the front of the net. Ulanoff can't find the puck. Now he does. In front of the net to Mike Eagles. And he relieves the pressure by slopping it down the ice, and they'll bring it back in Jets territory for a faceoff in a pretty good second period for the Boston Bruins.
John Drusu was a teammate of Kings in Peterborough. Ty Domi also playing for the Peterborough Petes. Druce and King were roommates as well. John Druce has to be happy to see his old pal. Similar in some ways as players, and perhaps at some time during the season, one will be in the spot of the other. Could be different twists of fate. As much as you're happy to see somebody, sometimes you replace them in the lineup.
Alexei Zhamnov out to center for Solani. Gets around Sweeney right in. Saved by Lemelin on Solani. What a burst of speed to get around Don Sweeney. Solani coming close. Now for some out-of-town scorers, let's join Joe.
And some bad news for the Winnipeg Jets. Hoggood and Klima have scored. The Oilers leading the Canadiens 2-0. Elsewhere, Steve Thomas with both goals. The Islanders and Leafs tied at 2. Chicago way out in front of Detroit by 4. The Rangers pulling ahead of Washington, and Quebec continues to lead New Jersey.
Teemu Selanne is a magician. He can turn nothing into something as he does here. I thought he was running out of ice. He clearly didn't. Generated a good scoring opportunity.
Cannon trying to generate another one for Winnipeg. In the corner with Ray Bourque. Bortolnoff to Juneau. He's ridden out of the play by Sergei Bout. Zhamnov racing after the puck. Just recovering in time was Bourque. Zhamnov to Shannon. Back to Zhamnov. Has Solani with him. The pass was behind him. Solani takes a high stick from Glenn Wesley and is down in the corner. Boughton going after Wesley.
Well, Ray Bourque went over to Boughton, and I'm sure his first words were, hey, look, this was absolutely accidental. Wesley put his arms down right away. You, without question, want to stand up for your teammate. You also want to know what took place. Ty Domi was up on his feet as quick as Solani went down. Solani, I believe, just getting an accidental high stick. Here's a look at what took place as the puck came across. Wesley moved to intercept the pass. It never got there. and he will, without doubt, be penalized. And you can see the look on his face right away. Oh, geez, I didn't mean to do that. Nonetheless, a penalty will result. And let's hope that Solani is not hurt. I don't think, Bruce, that these are the sorts of incidents that John Paddock is talking about. You always have to be in control of your stick. But it does happen every once in a while, of an accidental nature of that type. And that's what I would be calling that one if I was Rob Schick. Good call by Schick, assessing the double minor. Although Wesley high sticks Solani, the double minor is the most that Schick can give him without a major penalty. You have to be in control of your stick. It does happen sometimes, and bringing that penalty in gives a referee the discretion to make a call in exactly that situation. Ray Bourque is looking to have that explained more clearly.
You're watching the Jets live on CKND.
Special Dry, the evolution of beer.
Presenting some more of the 2,000 body parts you can clean with Lever 2000, the deodorant soap that's better for your skin. Studly parts like your delts and pecs, and smoochable parts like the nape of the neck, the small of your back, elbows, thighs, even parts that surprise. And all because Lever 2000 has gentle skincare ingredients, so it's as good for touchy-feely parts as it is for rough and tumble parts. And something new, you can now choose Lever 2000 in new unscented for all your 2,000 parts.
Under the high sticking rule, the official can assess a double minor penalty when it's deemed to be accidental in nature. That was what the discretion of Rob Schick did on the double high sticking minor to Boston.
Fine opportunity for the Jets here. Don Sweeney for Boston. Long shot. Wide of the goal. Essenson knocks it free to Frederick Olesen. For Housley. Pokes it in for Keith Tkachuk. Thomas Dean kicks at it in the corner. Borsato. Puck went to Bourque for Dave Reed. And it came out. Reed back to Bourque. To Don Sweeney. Hit Dave Poulin. Trying to blast it down the ice. Borsato overskates the puck. And now Poulin clears it. And Poulin in pain as he heads to the Bruins bench.
Dave Poulin has been fortunate, plagued by injuries over different parts of his career. He has managed to remain healthy for this entire season. One of the reasons for his good showing so far this year.
Housley whipped it in. Shannon and Shaw in the corner along with Solani. Shannon continues to work. Puck squirts free to Solani. To Shannon's side of the goal. Back to Solani. Jamnoff off the side of the net. Solani goes to Housley. Now to Jamnoff. Darren Shannon. At the point to Housley. His slap shot wide of the net. Hines for Boston. Dumps it down the ice. 2:17 left in the double minor penalty to Wesley. Lead pass for Tkachuk. Couldn't pick it up. And the play called on an offside with 2:11 in the penalties.
Well, different teams have different penalty minutes, and although there is quite a discrepancy in these numbers, they are averages. Montreal has had 190 man advantages, Boston 191, Winnipeg 199, and Hartford 231. So although there's some big numbers, the only real difference is between Winnipeg and Hartford, roughly 35 more power play opportunities. It's amazing if you look at Boston when they were the big bad Bruins, they averaged less than 15 minutes per game. You think the team we're looking at tonight is tougher than when they had guys like Cashman, O'Reilly, Jonathan, Wensick, on and on and on. Penalty minutes aren't necessarily a good indication of toughness.
Ray Bork couldn't slap it out. Kachuk along the boards. Back to Housley at the point. Steen in front of the net. Davidoff was all alone, but Bork was there defensively for Boston. Adam Oates off the boards and deep into Jets territory. Here's Housley winding up. Bill Housley with one of the shortest sticks in the league. Gains the line, gives it to Davidoff. Kachuk setting up in front. At the point to Housley. Had trouble controlling it. To Kachuk in the corner. For Davidoff. Back to Kachuk. Housley to Teppo Newman. His shot wide. Davidoff behind the net. Steen in the corner. Davidoff to Steen to Newman. Kachuk screening in front. Steen back to Newman again to Steen. And he put it right on the stick of Dave Reed, who sends it down the ice.
Some great checking by Dave Shaw. Put the pressure on Steen, kept the pressure on him, and finally forced the giveaway.
Jamnoff, Shannon, and Solani back out there for Winnipeg with time running down in the double minor. Shannon traps it in the corner. To Housley at the point. Across for Olesen. Shannon to Jamnoff. Watched by Sweeney. Slap shot and a stick save by Lemelin. Hines off the boards and out.
Reggie Lemelin great with his stick. When he has his pads on the ice, he still uses that piece of lumber to direct pucks in all sorts of different areas.
Last chance for the Jets with 10 seconds in the penalty. Shannon overskates the puck. Bork for Boston. Shannon to Solani. Stops against Featherstone. Puck underneath Bork at the Bruins line, and now Featherstone and Lawler have an exchange. And the penalty is over to Wesley.
Our next telecast on CKND comes to you in 1993, Friday, January 8th, when the Los Angeles Kings come to town to take on the Jets, live at 7:30.
And you know what, Jim? There's talk that Wayne Gretzky could be back for that one.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me. There's also talk that Cam Neely will be back before the end of January. He's had a couple of different opinions on his injury to his left leg, quad, knee, whatever you want to call it. There is a pretty good word that he'll begin skating in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Juneau for the Bruins. Did a nice job killing off the penalties to Wesley with 2 minutes left second period. Jets 3, Bruins 2. Murphy behind the goal. Lead pass to Adam Oates off his stick. Erickson dropped it to Ulanov. Eagles took a swipe at it, and the puck went flying into the crowd.
Well, I'm not sure whether that was planned or not, Bruce, but that puck went right up into the section with all the Bruins fans. The angle that it was going on, I think it clipped about 6 of them, and they're just showing that they don't mind getting a little bit of rubber thrown at them. Boston Bruins fans congregating in one section wearing their best Christmas shorts.
Had a sign for Gene Principe, who's back in the CKND studios. Don't know if he'll like it all that much.
That was very complimentary.
Gene providing us with highlights tonight of other action in the NHL. Boughton fires it in off the corner board. The Eagles into the skates and pads of Lemelin. He drops on the puck. 1:34 left second period. Face off to the left of the veteran Bruins goaltender as we look at a real competitor in Mike Eagles.
Well, Mike Eagles has played a strong game again tonight, taking the body. When you talk about toughness, Eagles has continued to play in the same line, in the same way, whether there has been Ty Domi's in the lineup or not. Eagles getting a stiff body check from Wesley right here. He got the better of the deal, and now he's going to win a faceoff.
Well, not this one.
You can't say he lost it.
No, you're right. Ian McKimmer waved out. Drews takes it against Leach. Kaner rolled it to the point. Out comes McKim for Boston. Around Newman. He was upended. King off the board to Eagles. Here come the Jets, 2-on-1. Eagles with Bruce. Eagles shoots. And Wesley made a fine defensive play, dropping in front of the shot. And the puck went out of play.
The Boston Bruins have played 2-on-1s very well. As a New Year's present, Bob Joyce's brother got the puck. He just wishes that Bob Joyce was here. A perfectly timed slide by Wesley. Eagles, who on second thought should have shot the puck a little bit quicker, has scored 10% of his goals against the Boston Bruins. And had he got that one, he would have made the number a little bit higher.
Bob Joyce playing for the Jets Farm Club in Moncton, and the Jets don't plan to go back there again next year. Going to relocate their farm team. That announcement made today. Don Sweeney to Panalaya. Out to center. Housley flips it back in for the Jets. McKim outside the line with Borsato. Don Sweeney picks it up. And the Bruins offside with 53.2 seconds left in period 2.
Sutter, one of 7 brothers. 6 of them played in the National Hockey League. Brian Sutter, who demands nothing less than what he gives, is about as intense as he looks. If you were to watch a Bruins practice, whether it was this morning on the day of the game or whether it was any other day, boy, is their tempo. And when something doesn't go right, you know about it just by the look on Sutter's face and the way he's holding the whistle.
He was the NHL's Coach of the Year with the Blues in '91, but like so many before him, not with the team, but he won the Coach of the Year award with.
Well, the winningest coach as far as percentages in St. Louis Blues history, and has done just a great job. Teamed up with Tommy McVie. Sutter has only one assistant coach, where most teams in the National Hockey League now have a few. But does this guy work? Does he demand that each of his troops work? The farm team for the Boston Bruins in Providence, Rhode Island. And as you mentioned, Bruce, the Winnipeg Jets deciding to drop out of Moncton for business reasons. And that will happen, I would guess, with a lot of other farm teams in the National Hockey League as costs to run a farm team escalate.
We'll drop the puck again to the right of Bob Essensa. You mentioned assistant Tom McVie. He guided the Jets in their early NHL days. And now an assistant with Brian Sutter in Boston. Borsato goes down off the draw. Oates has it into the slot. No Bruin there. Darren Shannon for the Jets. Pass went under the stick of Eagles at center. 26 seconds left in the period as Borsato went after Wesley in the corner. McKim and Eagle. Borsato still being worked over by Wesley. Pucks in their skates. Rob Schick allows play to continue. They might just kill off the last 10 seconds. Now Borsato comes up for Eagles. His shot. And Rob Schick is calling a penalty. And Borsato doesn't like it.
Neither do the fans. Borsato getting tied up in the corner. And as the puck scurried along the boards, Schick decided that Borsato was holding more than the puck along the boards. He did just briefly have his hand on the stick right here. And that is what the call is. That holding the stick is something that the referees have called and then let go and called and let go. And right now they seem to be jumping on it a little bit more. Borsato getting caught holding the stick, and the Bruins will not get a scoring opportunity with 7.5 seconds remaining in the second, but they will be able to talk about the excellent Jets penalty killing between the second and third to decide what to do to counter it.
Don't think they'll get a scoring chance. Juneau, lead pass for Tolnoff. Numanen is back on defense as the horn sounds to end the second period.
The Winnipeg Jets with the momentum in the first period. Boston took it away, particularly in terms of shots in the second. Even though the Jets are up by 1, this game is up for grabs going into the third frame.
Boston's fine rookie Joe Juneau will talk with Joe Pascucci in our second intermission. The score after 2 periods of play, the Jets 3 and the Bruins 2.
Hi, I'm Gene Principe from CKND Sportsline. If you aren't one of our viewers, what are you watching? CKND Sportsline. Weeknights at 11.
He was the king, and this was the performance of a lifetime.
Well, since my baby left me, well, I found a new place to dwell. Don't be cruel.
The 68 Comeback Special is finally available on home video. 76 minutes of rare concert footage, 27 of the King's greatest hits. This is Elvis at his best, captured on this video classic. The 68 Comeback Special. Order your video now for just $29.95, and you'll also receive this Elvis Collector's Edition art print commemorating this historic event. This is an exclusive television offer. To order yours, call 1-800-624-4900 or send $29.95 plus $4.95 shipping to Elvis TV Special Offer, Box 3355, Station D, Willowdale, Ontario.
One little candle burning bright, 2 little candles flickering light. If everyone lit just 3 little candles, what a bright world this would be. One for love, one for peace, and one for harmony. Wishing you a season of harmony.
Hey, Canada, it's Pizza Hut's multi-pizza deal.
We get 1 pizza.
Regular price.
The 4 more pizzas are each?
$5.
What about a Supreme?
Regular price.
And a pepperoni lovers?
$5.
What about 3 sausage pizzas?
Regular price, $5, $5.
5 Super Supremes.
Regular price, $5, $5, $5, $5.
Now buy a medium pan pizza for regular price, up to 4 more, just $5 each.
Okay, how about a meat lovers, 2 pepperoni lovers, a Ferrari, and a sausage pizza?
Regular price, $5, $5, $126,580. $5.
Earning free travel when you shop is a great idea, if only it didn't take so long. It doesn't have to. Shop at Travel Cash businesses in Winnipeg and get where you want to go much faster. Pick up your Travel Cash card today at any Travel Cash business and you're on your way.
The Jets scored the first 3 goals of the game, but the Boston Bruins have come back. They've scored the next 2. They're within 1. There's 20 minutes left to play. Joining me now in the second intermission is the Bruins' outstanding rookie, Joe Juneau. And, Joe, you've certainly taken this game away from the Winnipeg Jets. Looked like they'd run you out of the rink when they got up ahead 3-0.
Yeah, we obviously we had to come back and play better in the second. I really think nobody was there in the first, and it's like we were sleeping.
Is that a carryover from the game against the New York Rangers when you lost that big lead in the last period?
Yeah, it might have been, you know, but when you're on the road, it happens a lot that, you know, you have good starts, and eventually you get better and finish up the game strong.
Here's an old cliche. The next goal is definitely going to be the big one in this hockey game.
Oh, that's for sure. You know, it's a very important goal, and if they take the lead 4-2, it's going to be tougher for us to come back in the game, so we definitely have to score.
All right, let's talk about the rookie matchup tonight. Yourself against Timo Solani. You're actually playing against each other all night. You've had a real good look at Timo Solani this evening.
Yeah, well, you know, I had the chance to play against him the last 2 years while I was playing with Team Canada. So, you know, I know what kind of player he is. He's very talented, you know, a great skater. And, you know, I think the draw between me and him tonight is more of a fan thing, or the media's. You know, I don't think him or me make a big deal out of it, you know.
It must be nice for a rookie to win the silver medal at the Olympics, come in a Quebec native, beating the Montreal Canadiens in the playoffs, and playing with Adam Oates to boot.
Mm-hmm. Well, last year lots of great things happens to me, and the first one was you know, to get that silver medal. It wasn't gold, but it was great. You know, the experience was good all year long. To learn playing hockey, you know, the right way with Dave King was great. And then finally signed with the Bruins, the team that drafted me, and you know, I had the chance to play on the first line and on the first power play. Helped me tremendously to start on the right foot.
We've got about 20 seconds left. Tell us the number 49. That's an unusual number. Why 49?
Well, I always wear 9 all my life, and when I got there, Johnny Pusick, did he retire number 9 because of him, so I just wanted to keep it, so I took 49,
And Bobby Orr wore number 4.
Exactly, so I figure I got 2 good numbers.
Okay, Joe Juneau, good luck in the third period. Good luck the rest of the season. Right.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, Joe Juneau, outstanding rookie of the Boston Bruins. Coming up next, we'll have a CKND newscap with Sandy Krachenko. After that, highlights and scores from around the NHL.
Put yourself in the cockpit of one of the world's most spectacular aerobatic teams. A salute to 20 years of snowbird excellence.
I think they're the absolute best, number 1 in the world.
Canada's magnificent snowbird. The first 20 years. New Year's Day at 2.
All right, Manitoba, Merry Christmas from the giant Eastwood Jeep Eagle, 1424 Regent Avenue West. It's back by popular demand, and it's a giant Eastwood Jeep Eagle exclusive. For a limited time, 3.9% full-term financing on over $750,000 worth of premium pre-owned vehicles. Nobody else has got it, so why would you go anywhere else? Call 661-5337 today.
Go beyond the abnormal. Waka, waka, waka. Beyond the bizarre.
Actually, all my nipples are now.
Enter a state of madness. Mountain Madness with Dennis Miller, Bobcat Goldthwait, Tom Wilson, Greg Campbell, and much more.
The Californians want to buy Vancouver water.
Oops, it's more than just comedy.
I think I'm going to go to knock-knock jokes right now.
It's almost 60 minutes long. Molson Canadian Mountain Madness. New Year's Eve at 9 on CKND.
Play Score and Win at Safeway with a Jet Score on CKND. You could win $500 in MasterCard Traveler's checks from the Bank of Montreal, a GE microwave oven with easy-to-use sensor cooking controls, Ryobi workforce power tools, Ryobi making innovative concepts a reality, or Sultan's Good Taste Collection featuring their famous hot tray. At the end of each game, we will award a Canadian Holidays vacation for 2 to Walt Disney World Resort. To enter, fill out a ballot at Safeway and watch the Jets on CKND. Score and win. Another reason we're today's better way.
Make this Christmas an Olga Christmas. Imagine all the classics played by Olga Montero on her magic harp.
It keeps going and going. Energizer. Absolutely nothing lasts longer.
Canadian Airlines will remain airborne. American Airlines is going to invest $250 million in Canadian's parent company, TWA. The deal could be finalized this summer. There will soon be a lot of construction activity just west of the Health Sciences Center.
I'm Colin Friesenwell. It's finally official. Construction has begun on the new Federal Virology Lab. We'll tell you all about it tonight at 10:30.
The Bank of Canada rate has fallen for the 5th straight week. It fell 7 basis points today to 7.36%. In other financial news, the price of a basic postage stamp will increase 1 cent this Friday to 43 cents. Add on the GST and the final price is 46 cents. About 400 displaced Oakville residents will have to wait at least 2 more weeks before they can return to their homes. Officials at the scene of the recent derailment near the village say the evacuees can't go home until all hazardous chemicals have been removed from undamaged tanker cars. And nearly all 53 people aboard a Cuban airliner that landed in the United States this morning are requesting asylum. A customs official says the pilot apparently subdued his co-pilot using chloroform and possibly handcuffs. Join us for details of these stories and more tonight at 10:30.
Celebration 93, $25 million in prizes. Who will win one of the 10 cruises? Who will win the Corvette, the Lincolns, the Explorers? Who will win one of the 5 prizes of $1 million? And who will win the grand prize of $5 million? And who will become the first millionaire of the year? Celebration 93, $25 million in prizes.
One little candle burning bright, 2 little candles flickering light. If everyone lit just 3 little candles, what a bright world this would be. harmony. When I grow up, I'm going to be a big hockey star.
Have you boys done your homework already?
Of course. When I grow up, I'm going to be a rock star. You can have your music. There's no Stanley Cup for rock stars. Who cares? When I grow up, I'll have my own limos with car phones. When I grow up, I wanna grow up.
Call Foster Parents Plan. Toll free 1-800-268-7174.
Red Hot Family Shots brought to you by the Red Hot family of Dirt Devil Vacuums by Royal. Tonight, the Christians.
Take a tip from Santa and give the Dirt Devil hand vac. Help someone you love clean up this Christmas.
The Christians are one of the game's true hockey families. Dave Christian enters his 14th season in the NHL. He's missed only 10 games in the last 9 years. Dave followed the Christian family tradition when he was a member of the 1980 U.S. Olympic gold medal winning team. His father Bill and Uncle Roger were members of both the 1960 and 64 U.S. Olympic teams, and his Uncle Gordon played for the Team USA in the 1956 Olympics. The family manufactures Christian Brother hockey sticks. For 27 years, our motto has been, hockey sticks made by hockey players. The Christian family accounts for many years of experience in the Olympics, the NHL, and the manufacturing of hockey equipment. Another Red Hot Family shot from the Red Hot family of Dirt Devil Vacuums by Royal.
And 3-2 the score here at the Winnipeg Arena. The Winnipeg Jets leading the Boston Bruins. Let's check out what's happening on the out-of-town scoreboard tonight. And we can tell you 2 games just about to get underway. San Jose and Vancouver. The Canucks with that impressive home record. And it's Philadelphia at Los Angeles. The next one, Eric Lindros in his first game on the West Coast. The game we're watching tonight, the Edmonton Oilers leading the Montreal Canadiens 2-0. That's in the first period. Gene Principe back at the CKND studios has the highlights.
Edmonton taking on Montreal. Oilers start the scoring. Greg Haggard with the slap shot on the power play. Edmonton takes a 1-0 lead, and just seconds later, Oilers make it 2-0. Peter Klima with a wraparound that goes off about 3 different players, beats Andre Rasico to make it 2-0 for Edmonton. Oilers pressing a red light Rasico. Brent Gilchrist the shot, and Andre having a tough time with it at the other end. Billy Ranford also making some good saves like this one off of Guy Carbonneau. Oilers lead this one 2-0 at the end of period number 1. Meanwhile, Rangers taking on the Capitals on the power play. Dmitry Kristich will put home Dale Hunter's shot past Johnny Van Beesbrook. That makes the game 3-2 in favor of the Rangers. Then right off of the face-off, Peter Bondra, he scores. This game is headed into overtime, tied at 3.
And they're just dropping the puck right now for overtime in that game. Elsewhere in the NHL, Glenn Anderson with the winner at the 1909 mark of the third. The Leafs defeat the New York Islanders 3-2. Thomas with both goals for the Islanders. Chicago winning big over Detroit 6-2 there. Sutter and Kravchuk with 2 goals each in that game. The Quebec Nordiques defeating the New Jersey Devils tonight 4-1. Nolan with his 20th, Sundin his 24th. That victory puts the Nordiques temporarily in sole possession of first place in the Adams division. Our score here, the Jets leading the Boston Bruins 3-2, 20 minutes left to play, and our Molson Jets telecast continues after this.
Molson Special Dry. Is this your average beer? Is this your average beach party? Molson Special Dry. It just could be the best beer ever brewed, anytime, anywhere.
Now this is what I call a beach party.
For 4 days only, Future Shop Discount Superstores is holding over at all its giant superstore locations their biggest Boxing Day sale ever. Future Shop has over $50 million of brand name audio, video, computers, and appliances. And right now, you can save up to 80%. At Future Shop, you get the absolute lowest prices on the best selection of brand name products. Plus, total satisfaction or your money back. Hurry down to the biggest Boxing Day sale ever and save up to 80%. Sale ends Wednesday. Don't miss it.
We welcome you back to the Winnipeg Arena. The Jets and the Bruins getting set to start the third period. The Jets leading 3-2. The scoring summary is brought to you by Coca-Cola Classic, the official soft drink of NHL hockey. Just one goal in the second period. That by Ray Bourque of the Bruins, his 5th of the year. From Oates and Juneau at 5:35. Boston out shooting the Jets 10-6 in the second period of play. The Jets 19-18 after 40 minutes.
The difference started in the first period on a goal by Ty Domi, a perfect pass by Druce. And as Domi goes to the net, he puts it between the pads of Régin Lemelin. Ray Bourque has made it close on a real blisterer from the point. Bourque, who loves to shoot the puck, rose to the challenge here. And as Essenza came out, Bourque caught him looking and put it low. Both of these teams follow along with what you see in front of you. Look at the difference between 1967 to current, how the number of Canadians in the league has dropped, and Americans and those born outside of North America has increased dramatically. In actual numbers, the Bruins are consistent with the percentages you just saw. The Jets have a lot less Canadians and many more Europeans than the average team in the National Hockey League.
Key part of this hockey game, Bruins starting the third period on a power play. Borsato off for holding the stick. And the Bruins will try and even the count. Bortolnoff to Joe Juneau. Gates through center, shoots it in. Essenza stops it behind the net. Bruins get to it, trying to center it. Bourque at the point. To Juneau. Oates standing in front. Juneau faked the shot. Bortolnoff had it knocked away by Boughton. And Bourque kept it in at the point. To Wesley. Take the shot. Juneau looking. Back to Bourque at the point. Wrist shot off Eagles. Juneau again for Boston. Newman and over to check him. Boughton steps into Bortolnoff. And the rangy defenseman picks it up for Winnipeg. Comes out the other side. And shoots it down the ice. 55 seconds left in the minor penalty to Luciano Borsato. Here's the captain, Ray Bourque. On the left side to Adam Oates. He drops it to Wesley, moving up. Quick shot off the arm of Essenza. Ulanoff left the puck for Shannon. Tried to go to the other side, but Wesley was there. Bortolnoff, side of the net. Lawler pushed him aside. Puck came in front. Erickson can't golf it out. Bourque to Juneau. Across to Oates in front. Bortolnoff scores!
Perfectly executed passing play. Essenza has absolutely no chance. Oates already knows where he's going as Juneau makes the pass across. Bortolnoff in perfect position. He's backing up now, and Oates has decided to make that pass. Essenza has no choice but to play the shot. Bortolnoff is just shaking his head and saying, boy, oh boy, I wish I could have more of those.
19th goal of the season for Bortolnoff. And the Bruins have battled back from a 3-0 first period deficit to even the count at 3. Sweeney shoots it in. Ulanoff off the glass for Tkachuk. McKim puts it behind the net. Ulanoff comes dangerously in front. Jamnoff. Zelani back to Jamnoff, and the Jets are offside. Bortolnoff's 19th from Oates and Juneau on the power play at 1:29 of the third to tie the score.
Brian Sutter called a timeout earlier in the hockey game. John Paddock attempting to get his troops going. Now, it's always difficult as a coach or as a player when you have a great start and you don't sustain it. You've lost that momentum, and what do you do to grasp it, to get it back? A big check, a great shot, an outstanding save. One of those three things can snap your team back into the game, and that's what the Winnipeg Jets are looking to do with 18:06 remaining in the third.
Cooling off to Housley. Delaney went down against Sweeney. McKim for Leach. Don Sweeney hustled after it. Adelayev in front for Sweeney. Bouncing puck. And out come the Jets. Jamnok. And again, Jets offside. This time, Tkachuk with 2:22 gone in the third.
When you watch a game in the former Soviet Union, you're impressed with how few offsides there are. Offsides being a real indication of the discipline that players have in attacking the opposition's end. The Winnipeg Jets have scored the bulk of their goals by the attack, as Zhamnov just illustrated. Although that one went offside, they would like to see more goals generated by forechecking, something the Boston Bruins have given a bit of a lesson on, particularly in the second period.
Olsen slapped it in off the glass. Waller from the point. It's tipped, and Lemelin just got a piece of it. Featherstone really coughed it up behind the net to Thomas Steen. Davidoff in to help out. Brent Hughes is tripped up. King to Waller. One-timer. And a stick save by Lemelin. Poulin ridden out of the play by Davidoff. Stayed with the puck, however, and here's Hughes. Murphy trailing the play. Hughes shoots. Essence of the save. Rebound. Murphy shot it wide. At the wide open net. Davidoff for Winnipeg. Took a slash from Hughes as play opens up. Davidoff working in a shot. That's poked aside by Lemelin. Eagles side of the goal. Trying to come in front. He was knocked down by Featherstone, who gloved it around to Dave Reed, and he was slammed to the ice by Boughton. Boy, the action is heating up at the Winnipeg Arena in a 3-3 tie.
We talked about momentum. The Jets with some great body checks to get that momentum and continuing it on with some solid forechecking.
Bruce was stumped by Murphy. Domi knocks his man down. Steve Hines and very nearly gave the Jets a scoring opportunity. Bruce got his stick up on Juno, and he will get a penalty. High sticking the call to John Druce from Winnipeg Arena. Your Miller Genuine Draft telecast.
Score and win at Safeway. When the Jets score on CKND, you could win a 20-inch Emerson Combination TV VCR with unified remote control. From Mikasa, a set of elegant dinnerware from the Orchard Odyssey collection. The best of T-Pal, featuring the popular Juice Master, or a set of Dirt Devil vacuums from Royal Appliance. At the end of each game, we will award a Canadian Holidays vacation for two to Walt Disney World Resort. To enter, fill out a ballot at Safeway and watch the Jets on CKND. Score and win. Another reason we're today's better way.
John Druce receives a 2-minute high sticking penalty. Rob Schick was right on top of things, and watch how Druce swings around right here. His stick gets up, catches Juno in the neck. Druce is just to the left of your screen, rather Schick is, and he had no choice to call but to call that penalty. I think he would rather have left this game 5-on-5. This gives Boston a great chance with 16:09 left in the third.
Both these clubs have won only 2 games when scoring 3 or less goals, so the fourth one's a big one in a 3-3 tie. Here's Ray Bourque. Tried to send it in, but it hit Numanen, and he shoots the puck down the ice.
11 of the last 15 Jets games have been decided by a goal or less, either in their favor or in their opponent's favor. It looks like this one might turn out the same way as well.
They're used to the tight ones. Didn't look like it would be early. Bourque winding up. Shot. It's tipped by Kvartalnov, and Essensa made the stop. Joe Juno along the boards. Darren Shannon trying to work it out, and he does. Shannon gloves it into Bruins territory. 1:10 left in the penalty to Druce. Joe Juno ran into Erickson at center. He pokes it past the defense in a foot race, but Bourque beat him to the puck. Glenn Wesley to Adam Oates with a couple of assists. Sends it in off the glass. Another battle along the boards. Bortolnov was hanging on to Lawler's stick, and he was pleading for a penalty from Schick as they freeze it against the boards for a faceoff. Couple of finals are in. Here's Joe.
Thank you very much, Bruce. The Chicago defeating Detroit 6-3. Sutter and Kravchuk with 2 goals each in that game. And Washington in overtime defeating the Rangers 4-3. Bondra tied it to send it to overtime, and he won it with his 20th of the season, second of the game.
So the Rangers find out what it's like to be on the other end of the stick as they came from behind to beat Boston a couple of days ago. Tonight they lose to the Caps. Joe Juneau taking a rest.
Boston coming from behind here to tie this hockey game. Winnipeg scratching back, getting some momentum, and all of a sudden the penalty has taken a little bit of wind out of the sails. 40 seconds to kill.
Oates won the faceoff. Bork's shot blocked by Eagle. Bork again for Boston. Panalaya back to Bork. 30 seconds left in the Bruins man advantage. Panalaya edge of the circle. His shot. Pad saved by Essensa, who was screened. Leach standing right in front. But he got the pad down. Gord Murphy, the former Flyer, played his first game as a Bruin against the Winnipeg Jets last January. Murphy shoots it in. Oates to the corner after it. Centers it. Here's Panalaya right in. And it rolled just wide. Leach hammers away at it. Jets clear the crease. Murphy. Oates. Back to Bork. To Murphy at the left point. Druce out of the penalty box. And out come the Jets. Druce breaking on the right side. Borsato off the corner boards for him. Lemelin high off the glass to Oates. Panalaya for the Bruins. Couldn't clear it against Housley. Solani after it. Here's Housley. Waits in front for Shannon. Bork down in front. Solani tried to set up Housley. Solani again. Side of the net. Housley centers it. Solani scores!
Solani makes his reach seem like it's twice his height. He corralled the puck a couple of times, and watch how he corrals this one right here. It comes out in front. Somehow he spins around and gets the shot away. A great goal scorer always smells where to go. Solani smelt where to go here and tucks it in on the short side. Lemelin had most of the net covered, but not quite enough.
28th goal of the season for the brilliant rookie Solani. The next winner in the Safeway Score and Win contest is Jean Zemlak of Winnipeg. By filling out a ballot at her local Safeway, Jean has won a set of Ryobi Workforce power tools. And the Jets have regained the lead. Ulanoff, Borkachuk, Shannon, and Housley assisting on the goals. Housley's third assist. Sweeney flips it out. Here's Housley for the Jets. Across to Kachuk. He backhands it into the Bruins zone. Sweeney with Erickson forechecking. Up the boards to McKim. Dave Reed, who was drafted by Boston, went to Toronto and then re-signed by the Bruins as a free agent. Jets send it in deep. Lemelin. Don Sweeney moves around Borsato, brings the Bruins out. Steve Hines. Nice move on Ulanoff. Reed following up. So was Sweeney. Turns in the corner. Back to Bork. Moves up. Slap shot. Blocked by Ulanoff, and it comes out.
Bolt yourself into your chair. We're going to see some great action here.
Hines a slap shot right into the glove of Bob Essensa. And he hangs on with Dave Reed standing on the doorstep.
At one time, this guy is gruff and has a great love for the game. If a Brillo pad could talk, it would sound like Tommy McVie.
His Bruins trailing 4-3. Jets control off the faceoff. Mike Lawler flips it through center. Jamnoff giving chase against Glenn Wesley. Ray Bork, his pass intercepted by Jamnoff. Made a good move on the defenseman. Solani on the puck. Cruising around in that Bruins zone, gives it to Jamnoff. Solani trying to set up in front for him. And
it went off the back of Wesley. Newman backhands it to the front of the net. This line starting to give the Bruins some fits. Solani, Jamnoff, and Shannon.
Well, you can back up and allow the team to come at you, or you can continue to forecheck. Solani and Jamnov doing a great job in forechecking Boston, hemming them in their end. They're 200 feet away from Essenza. That's the best defense anybody can write. Both of these guys turning on a Rupel to keep the puck in around Reggie Lemelin.
Face off to the right of Lemelin. He and Andy Moog shared the Jennings Trophy back in 1989-90. Lemelin at 38, still doing the job.
Reggie Lemelin, the oldest player in the National Hockey League, at 38 years of age.
13,291 in attendance at the Winnipeg Arena on a cold night, watching a real good hockey game. Ulanoff and Hines in a foot race. Ulanoff won it. To the point, here's Murphy for Boston. Didn't get much on the pass. Puck goes high and outside Jets territory. Chris King off the board. Here's Murphy for Boston. Backhands it in. Bill Housley. Down the boards for King, trying to tip it out against Murphy. Housley to Evgeny Davidoff. Streaking down the right side. He's tripped up by Featherstone. Ulanoff for the Jets. He's hooked down, and that will draw a penalty. Hooking will be the call. Davidoff upset as King comes over to say something to Hines. Now Featherstone joining the group. And I think just the one penalty will happen here.
The Jets regrouped after killing a penalty to score the goal, ahead goal. The Boston Bruins now have the same opportunity. Their first focus, though, will be to kill the Winnipeg Jets power play. Right now, Dave Reed going to the penalty box on a 2-minute hooking call right here. He was a little bit concerned that that puck would jump through and a breakaway would result, but the lumber out and is assessed 2-minute hooking.
Reed for hooking at 8:36. Winnipeg 1 for 5 with the man advantage against Brian Sutter's Bruins. I mentioned the attendance, 13,291. 1,400 of those were walk-ups tonight, and a lot of that had to do with Ty Domi and Chris King playing their first game in a Jets uniform, and once again some good seats left for the Jets Oilers. New Year's Eve battle in a couple of days. 4:30 start here at Winnipeg Arena.
Things continue to go the same way. There will be a 2-point differential for that last power play spot.
Adam Oates will get a penalty for dumping Bob Essenson. Bork taking his time, and the Jets will have a 2-man advantage for a minute and 38 seconds. Interference, the call on Adam Oates.
You simply cannot run into the goaltender if it is intentional at all. An interference penalty is called. Adam Oates feeling the wrath of that particular rule. There's a look right here. Oates has got to get out of the way. This rule put in place because goalies were getting run over. Brawls were resulting. Oates must put the binders on and avoid Essenza at all costs. That didn't happen, and there's a 5-on-3. What an opportunity for the Winnipeg Jets to take a 2-goal lead.
And the fans coming to life as Rob Schick giving the Jets this 2-man advantage. Poulin, Wesley, and Bork will try and kill it off. They had a discussion with Rajan Lemelin. Jamnov, Shannon, Solani, Housley, and Olesen for this Jets 2-man advantage. Puck bounces to Olesen. Solani to Housley. Shannon standing in front. Olesen fakes the shot. Jamnov. Solani off the side of the goal. Olesen to Housley to Solani. Looks around, gives it to Olesen in the slot. Bounced away from him. Bruins playing a triangle. Olesen to Jamnov. Scores!
Winnipeg getting the desired result without a perfect play. Zhamnov attempting to go across to Solani, and the deflection goes in and through Régin Lemelin right here off of Ray Bourque. The Jets very composed in moving the puck around, not in a rush. They've got lots of time, and as you see, Solani waiting by the open side of the net. Zhamnov hits Bourque, and the puck goes in.
Zhamnov's second of the night. Ed Denischuk of Winnipeg is the winner in the Safeway Score and Win contest by attaching a label from Kraft Dinner to a ballot provided by his local Safeway. Ed has won an Emerson 20-inch combination TV VCR. Pretty nice Christmas present for Ed Denischuk of Winnipeg. Zhamnov with his second of the night, and the Jets have a 2-goal lead after the Bruins tied it here in the third. Jets still on the power play. Olsen and Solani assisting on Zhamnov's ninth. That's Olsen's first point in 7. Here's Tkachuk to Olsen, one-timer blocked by Poulin. Don Sweeney sends Dave Reed away. Housley back defensively for Winnipeg. Reed's shot goes off Housley. Reed trying to center it. Bruins change up on their penalty killers. And here comes Housley for the Jets. He's logged a lot of ice time. To Thomas Dean. Pushed to the boards by Wesley. And Hines fires it down the ice for the Bruins.
Still almost a minute remaining in this Jets power play. The Bruins will most certainly be hoping for a power play advantage to get back to even after this one's over.
Darren Shannon along the boards. He was bumped by Hines. Steen behind the goal for Davidoff. He couldn't catch up to it. Ray Bourque backhands it to center. Steen back to Newman at his own line. Forced back by Donato. Zhamnov to Newman. Housley turns away from Donato. Bourque to Donato. Newman trying to cut him off. Cuts to the middle. Donato shoots off the stick of Newman and wide. Hines for Boston. Forced out by Zhamnov. Solani giving chase. Zhamnov has it. Solani in front. Zhamnov couldn't center it. As it hit Wesley. Bruins back at full strength, but now down by a pair. Essensa will play it. 8:45 remaining third period. 5-3 Jets. Shaw off the glass to center. Lawler took a whack at it. Here's Adam Oates. Drops it to Sweeney. Quick shot. Stick save. Rebound to Lawler. He sends Solani away for Winnipeg. Dumped at the line by Don Sweeney. Back comes Bortolnoff for Boston. To Joe Juno. To Adam Oates. Goes for the net. Pass across off Zhamnov to the corner. Druce bumps with Sweeney in the corner. Ulanoff. Oates for the Bruins. To Shaw. Slop shot. Hit Druce. Bruins still have it. Juno behind the goal. Essensa to Ulanoff. Around for Zhamnov, and he just lets it go out with exactly 8 minutes remaining third period. Juno slammed by Domi. Well, you got to keep your head up when number 20's on the ice.
Well, you've seen that Domi can deliver a crushing check.
King tried to center it. Domi knocked down by Shaw. That won't stop him. Domi tackled behind the net by Featherstone. Eagles trying to come in from wraparound. And Lemelin got a skate on it. Domi again. Shoots. Lemelin the save. And he pounces on it. Domi mixing it up with David Shaw. And I don't think anything more is going to develop. Another good shift for Domi. Big ovation for the Jets, who lead by 2.
So she turns to me and says, I want a new TV. And I say, great, let's make it a great big one. And I know where we can get the best deal. And she just smiles and says, you want to bet? So I check out that discount store that advertises the lowest prices, and she checks out Advance. Come on, Advance. Great service, sure, great selection, yeah, but the lowest prices? Yep, that too. Can't beat that.
This is Karen Kane. In Ethiopia, Afghanistan, In Cambodia, the guns may officially be silent, but the suffering continues. Years of war have left scars on innocent men, women, and children that may never heal. Through it all, the Canadian Red Cross has been there like a light in the darkness. You can help the light shine brighter by supporting the Red Cross's Victims of War campaign.
On the out-of-town scoreboard, Montreal has come back with a goal. Schneider getting it. The Oilers leading that one 2-1 in the second. Vancouver leading San Jose 2-0 in the first. The Canucks haven't lost at home since October 30th. And Los Angeles on goals by McIntyre and Robitaille leading the Flyers in the first.
Thanks, Joe. Here at Winnipeg Arena, 7:23 to go, third period. Jets 5 and the Bruins 3. And they're in the New Year's Eve spirit already at the arena. Leach out to center. Borsato for the Jets. He backhands it in. Featherstone behind the net. Watched by Tkachuk. Gord Murphy. Off the boards for Leach. Hopped over his stick. Ulanoff backtracking. Tkachuk didn't get much on the pass. McKim knocked down by Tkachuk. To Borsato on the left side. Jets left the puck. Leach. Lead pass with Panalayev. But Erickson was there defensively. Murphy from center. Slaps it in for Boston. Puck goes to the corner. Panalayev after Ulanoff. Chris King dumps it into Bruins territory. 6:29 left, third period. Jets with a 2-goal lead. Ray Bourque sitting up behind the net. Thomas Steen keeping an eye on him. To Hines at center. Swept away by Newman. Big pile up with the Jets bench as Hughes went after Newman. Here's Housley, who's had a strong game for Winnipeg. In the slot, Davidoff shoots and level it. Good as ground. Wesley to Donato. He lifts it in. Hines and King go to the corner. King around the boards. Donato to Hughes. Bourque in from the point. Couldn't control it. And it's backhanded out by Newman, who was roughed up by Brent Hughes. Now King looking at Hughes, the former Jet. Sweeney. Wrestled down by Ulanoff. Puck's underneath the Russian defenseman. And he holds it in the corner. Sweeney looking at Schick for a penalty. 5:34 left.
Ulanoff just catching his breath after taking a couple of body checks and a long shift. Brent Hughes doing a good job on the Winnipeg Jets, trying to draw a penalty. Was consistently running into Newman. And Bertalnov, one of 4 Soviets in the Boston lineup, the first Russian player drafted by the Boston Bruins. These guys tend to have a lot better skills because the amount of time they've spent practicing on their quest to enter the National Hockey League or play in the Soviet elite leagues.
Bertalnov behind the net. Mike Lawler for the Jets. Shaw was pinching. Borsato just rolls it out. Don Sweeney. Starting out for Boston. To Adam Oates. He drops it off to Sweeney. He slops it in. Shannon in the corner with Juno forechecking along with Oates. Jamnoff to Shannon. Roughed up by Shaw. Solani stepped into Sweeney behind the goal. Oates at center. Newmanen, lead pass for Solani. The 2 rookies come together, Solani and Juno. Glenn Wesley ran into Kortolnoff at center. His own player. Housley goes rink wide to Newmanen. 4.5 minutes left, third period. Jets lead by 2. Jamnoff to Druce. Stick handles across the line. Dropped it in for Solani, but the Bruins, McKim cleared it. Analayev. Leach scoops it up. Quick shot on the save by Essenson. Newmanen off the boards and out. Ray Bork, Andrew McKim, off Panalaev's skate. Bruce sends Domi away, moving in the shot, level in the save. And he holds it as Ty Domi comes close again. You're watching the Jets live on CKND.
Smythe division came in the hands of the Gretzky-less Los Angeles Kings. Winnipeg hasn't had the same success against the Adams division, but if 4 minutes expire and the score stays the same, a 1 will replace the first 0.
Face off to the left of Ray-Jean Lemelin. 3:57 to go. Donato set to take the draw against Mike Eagles. Jets 5 and the Bruins 3. Mike Lawler sends it in. Don Sweeney collided with Eagle. Domi was behind the defense. Drews couldn't get him the pass. Brent Hughes shot that drifted high and wide. Well, there's been some good body checks in this game as the Jets ice the puck. Sweeney back to touch it. And we have a penalty or penalties behind the play.
Gordon Murphy did exactly the right thing after Eagles laid a perfect check in mid-ice. Murphy came back and delivered a real solid check to Eagles. Completely legal on the boards that really rocked them. Domi happened to be there. Domi took exception and put the stick on Murphy. Schick was right on top of things and I believe assessed a slashing penalty to Ty Domi. Now, if that's the case, it's something that you can argue about, but you don't want to put yourself in that position with only 3.5 minutes left. Fortunately for the Jets, they are ahead by a pair.
So Ty Domi serving his first penalty time as a Winnipeg Jet. 3:26 to go. And we could be in for an interesting finish with the Bruins down by 2.
Domi's had a strong game so far. With 2 minutes of solid penalty killing, this one will be forgotten.
Oates had his helmet knocked off. Bork shot off the side of the goal. Wrist shot or slap shot. Ray Bork is dangerous. Juno fakes the shot. Off the stick of Numanen. Kortalnov to Bork at the point. His pass went off Eagles to Wesley. Bruins on a power play down by 2. Oates fakes the shot. Wesley slap shot deflected wide. Bork along the board. Juno to Kortalnov. Bruins working the boards. Bork to Wesley. Bork keeps it in. Juno slap shot wide. And the puck goes out. All the way around the boards and rolling into Bruins territory.
A lot of little things I just marvel at that Ray Bork does so well. He's done a great job tonight in keeping the puck in. He manages to jump so quickly and what looks like is coming out stays inside the blue line.
Ray Bork at the point. His shot off the skate of Ollis into the corner. Oates behind the net for Kortalnov. He goes down. Olison checking him. Oates in to help out. Juno in the corner, 47 seconds left in the power play. Oates beats Bork at the point. Nearly came out, kept it onside. Wesley in front. Oates essence it down to make a great save on Adam Oates.
There's the save of the hockey game. 2 minutes and 3 seconds remaining. The Boston Bruins fans don't like it. Essenza and Ty Domi do. Take a look at this save. Oates, who waits and waits as he comes across. Essenza outstretches the human vacuum cleaner glove and sucks that puck in. Essenza and Reggie Lemelin, although they've had 31 and 28 shots respectively, not a lot of huge saves. Well, that was one, and it was perfectly timed by Bob Essenza. Ryan Sutter having a little conversation with Adam Oates. Not too happy about a few things. Relieving his frustration on number 12. Montreal has gone ahead 3-2 over the Edmonton Oilers. Now that sets up a real interesting contest on the 31st of December here at the arena.
Jets to move into a tie for 4th in the Smythe tonight if they win, and the Oilers lose to the Canadiens. 37 seconds left in the minor to tie Domi. Bruins down by 2, and Mike Waller shoots the puck down the ice. The net empty as Lemelin off in favor of the extra attacker. Waller didn't miss by much. Ray Bourque for the Bruins. Slaps it in. Went between the two Jets defensemen. Essence out to play it. Juno hopping in from the point. Numanen whacks it around the boards to the point. Wesley to Bourque. Juno edge of the circle. Fakes the shot, gives it to Wesley. He shoots. Essence of the save. Rebound, Leach after it. So is Borsato off the boards and down the ice. Domi just stepped out of the penalty box. He was in a race for the puck with Ray Bourque. Just 1:17 left. Lemelin still out of the net, but now the Bruins called on a 2-line offside, and Reggie will have to go back to work.
If you had sharp ears, you could hear the Winnipeg Jets calling that offside. Who's going to be Molson Cup first, second, and third star? Stay tuned. Immediately following the game, we will have a real expert pick the 3 Molson Cup stars of the hockey game tonight.
Well, thanks, Jim. I appreciate that.
Well, I'm glad you took credit for it. I wasn't sure whether you wanted to or not. There's the talking Brillo pad speaking with the KG veteran Reggie Lemelin. Lemelin, the only goaltender in the league right now to be wearing this type of helmet. Most goalies have gone to a mask, and they've found that it offers more protection, and you have a better feeling head if you get a puck in that locale.
1:13 left in the third. Lemelin will try and get to the bench again if the Bruins can gain control. He's heading for the bench, but Housley cleared it to Solani. Open net. The side of the post. And the Jets called for icing, so that'll set up a face-off down in Jets territory.
Here's a look at the chance. Solani didn't miss by much. Right there, hit the side of the net. And I believe John Paddock will be calling timeout to discuss what's going to happen in this final 57 seconds.
Well, this will give Brian Sutter another chance. Sutter called his timeout midway through the first period when the Jets jumped out to an early 3-0 lead. And now he's got more strategy planned, as does his counterpart, John Paddock of the Jets.
Bruce, if the puck passes through the crease with the goalie in, it is icing. The Jets, after that last shot by Solani, were concerned that it shouldn't have been icing because it went through the crease, but according to the rules, if a goalkeeper has been removed from the playing surface for an extra player, the icing rule shall be in effect if the puck passes through or touches any part of the goal crease before it crosses the goal line.
Now we'll quickly get some scores from Joe Pascucci.
Thank you very much, Bruce. Good news for Jets fans out in Edmonton. The Canadians have come back, trailed 2-0. They've now gone ahead by a score of 3-2. We don't know who scored the third goal, but the second Montreal goal scored by Savard. Vancouver looks like they're going to win this one in a laugher, leading San Jose 4-0. That is in the first period. And Philadelphia, 4 straight goals. They lead LA 4-2.
What's wrong with the Kings, and will the Canucks ever lose at home?
Jets clear at the length of the ice off the face-off. Wesley back for it, and the clock is down to 49.5 seconds.
When you're down in a hockey game, you want as many face-offs as possible in your opponent's defensive zone. Brian Sutter getting exactly what he would like, and because he doesn't have the luxury of a timeout right now, this gives him a little bit of time to switch a player here or there, as he's doing right now with number 26, Wesley.
Bruins net is empty. They have 6 attackers. Bortalnov, Leach, Oates, Juno, Bork, and Wesley. They win the face-off. Wesley shoots. Blocker saved by Essensa. And Lawler directs it out. Bork to Wesley. Jets have a 2-goal lead. Lead pass for Bortalnov. Lawler back to touch it. And icing called against the Bruins. And Reggie Lemelin makes that lonely trip back to his net again.
Mike Lawler with a couple of good plays, touching the puck for icing, something that can go unnoticed. And before that, batting the puck out of harm's way. Essensa had made the save, and it was bobbling up dangerously in front of the Winnipeg goaltender. Lawler simply swatted it down the ice. Lawler had a broken finger on November 12th. Obviously, that's feeling a lot better now. Nicely back into play, and with a couple of the defensive executions that I just mentioned, the Winnipeg Jets happy to have him back there on the line.
Lawler, a member of the Stanley Cup champion Canadians, against the Flames in '86. Delaney winding up, the shot is wide. Ray Bork to Adam Oates. Time ticking down on the Bruins. They had won 3 straight, but are about to lose their 2nd in a row. Oates to Juno. Tried to kick it to Bortalnov. Tuck in the corner. Clock down to 10 seconds. Lawler and Juno. Senators Bortalnov. Shoots. This wide. Oates trying to poke it in. Centers of Leach. A shot. Essensa down to make another shot. They score! Joe Juno. And that makes it 5-4. But only 0.6 seconds left in the game.
The Boston Bruins can certainly not be accused of playing until the clock hits 0. A couple of great saves by Essensa. He does all he can. The Jets should be taking bodies down in this situation. Whether you take a penalty or not now doesn't matter. There was too many black shirts standing around, and that resulted in this goal by Joey Juno. There was a great save off of Leach. I thought that was the end of it, and this is the end of it, Bruce.
Joe Juno scores for the Bruins late in the 3rd, but they didn't have enough time with 6/10 of a second, and the Jets celebrate a 5-4 victory over the Boston Bruins.
The Winnipeg Jets starting out very quickly and with a great first period. Ended up losing their steam a little bit as Boston battled back, and then the Jets did a great job in grabbing that momentum and scoring a couple on Reggie Lemelin. They end up salting this one away. 5-4 final, and a good test by the Winnipeg Jets over the Boston Bruins.
So the Jets edge the Bruins 5-4. In just a moment, our Molson Cup 3-star selection.
Tonight's first star with 2 goals, the Jets number 10, Alexei Zhamnov. Tonight's second star, the Jets number 6, Phil Housley. And tonight's third star, the Jets number 20, Ty Domi.
And recapping the 3 stars tonight. Star number 1, Alexei Zhamnov, 2 goals and an assist. Star number 2, Phil Housley, 3 assists tonight. And Ty Domi making his presence felt, a goal and some numerous hits, especially on Stephen Leach. He's star number 3. Updating the Molson Cup 3-star standings. Bob Essensa, Timo Solani tied at the top with 45 points. Phil Housley in 3rd with 35. And we'll be back to talk with Phil Housley right after this. The Jets beating the Boston Bruins 5-4.
Go beyond the abnormal.
Waka, waka, waka.
Enter a state of madness.
Oh, my nipples are
With Dennis Miller, Bobcat Goldthwait, and much more. Molson Canadian Mountain Madness.
New Year's Eve at 9 on CKND.
For 4 days only, Future Shop Discount Superstores is holding over at all its giant superstore locations their biggest Boxing Day sale ever. Future Shop has over $50 million of brand name audio, video, computers, and appliances. And right now, you can save up to 80%. At Future Shop, you get the absolute lowest prices on the best selection of brand name products. Plus, total satisfaction or your money back. Hurry down to the biggest Boxing Day sale ever and save up to 80%. Sale ends Wednesday. Don't miss it.
Score and win at Safeway with a Jet Score on CKND. You could win $500 of MasterCard Travelers checks from the Bank of Montreal, a GE microwave oven with easy-to-use sensor cooking controls, Ryobi workforce power tools, Ryobi making innovative concepts a reality, or Sultan's Good Taste Collection featuring their famous hot tray. At the end of each game, we will award a Canadian Holidays vacation for two to Walt Disney World Resort. To enter, fill out a ballot at Safeway and watch the Jets on CKND. Score and win. Another reason we're today's better way.
Earning free travel when you shop is a great idea, but there's more to a dream vacation than a plane ride. Earn travel cash at Travel Cash businesses and use it for air, ship, rail, hotels, even car rentals. Pick up your Travel Cash card today at any Travel Cash business and you're on your way.
5-4 the final score for the Winnipeg Jets over the Boston Bruins, and temporarily the Jets are now tied with the Edmonton Oilers for 4th place in the Smythe Division. And Phil Housey, the second star of tonight's game, has joined us. And Phil, that's kind of a funny game. You dominated the Bruins right off the bat. They took control, they tied it up, but you took control right after that and won the game.
Well, I think we were just too relaxed in that second period. You know, you never give Boston enough credit because they always come to play and work hard. And they took the play to us the second period, but we didn't back down the third. We knew we had to come out and create some more intensity like we did in the first period.
Certainly the presence of Ty Domi and Chris King was noticeable out there tonight. I mean, Solani and Zhamnov had hits before Domi did.
Well, they're aggressive, and we need players like that on our team, and, you know, makes everybody a little bit bigger and taller out there, and we definitely need that down the stretch.
All right, can you speak on behalf of Alexei Zhamnov? Now, he's certainly playing better of late, 4 goals in those last 7 games, 2 goals tonight, including the game winner and star number 1.
Well, it took him time to adjust, but he's really come into his own, and we need a player like him in the middle, because we don't have a lot of strength down the middle. I mean, we have Thomas Dean and Alex, and really helps our wingers so they can get the puck a lot easier.
All right, the good news coming out of Edmonton tonight, where Montreal has come back, is leading the Oilers 3-2. If that result stays the same, you guys are tied, and sets up a big game Thursday afternoon, New Year's Eve here at the arena.
Well, it's definitely going to be a big game for us. But before we leave, I'd just like to say hi to my wife, Karen, and my little boy, Wilson, that are in the hospital. And I'll see you tomorrow, and good luck, Wilson.
It makes things a lot easier after wins like this, doesn't
Definitely, and hopefully he'll be feeling a lot better tomorrow.
Okay, we've got the winning goal to show here in the game, and the score by the Jets made it 5-3 after Solani had made it 4-3.
Well, it was a good play by Timo. I was just trying to get the puck back to Freddie for a one-timer, but Freddie, you know, calmed down here and settled down and made a good play down to Alex, and Alex took a good shot right off the bat. They thought they were going to pass it over to Timo, but it was a good shot, and we needed that goal, and our power play came up big for us tonight.
All right, Phil Housey, thank you very much. 3 assists tonight, and good luck on Thursday afternoon against the Edmonton Oilers.
Thank you.
Let's take a look at the standings right now. The Smythe Division, the Jets now tied with the Edmonton Oilers. Depending on the outcome of that game, the Oilers are playing with the Montreal Canadiens, and the Jets will play the Oilers on Thursday afternoon. Over in the Adams Division, right now at least, the Quebec Nordiques in first place with their victory over New Jersey. Montreal could move back into a tie. Boston falling back with their loss tonight to the Winnipeg Jets. 5-4, the final score. The out-of-town score is coming up next as your Miller Genuine telecast continues.
How
Have a safe and happy holiday season from your neighborhood 7-Eleven stores.
Leave your car in secure hands at Executive Air Park. Only 2 minutes from the airport by our personal shuttle service. Your vehicle will stay just the way you left it in our secure heated indoor parkade or outdoor fenced-in compound. Hand washes, oil changes, and other services are also available, including free boosting if your car won't start. You'll never be left out in the cold again when you park your car at Executive Air Park.
It's on now, the main event. Multitech's biggest sale event of the year, with prices slashed on electronics in our 49 stores across Canada. These prices are unbelievable. The Emerson Compact CD player with programmable memory, $79. The RCA VCR with remote, $198. And the Toshiba 28-inch stereo monitor with remote, $598. Look for Multitech's main event ad in your newspaper and make it your main shopping event of the year.
Only one transportation company has been singled out for special recognition of its quality service, Reimer Express. Nobody else serves all of Canada, and especially Western Canada, with more dependability. Nobody delivers better, faster, or at a more cost-effective price. And nobody dares challenge our exclusive guarantee, on time or free. Reimer Express, Canada Award winner for business excellence in quality.
From all of us at RE/MAX, warmest wishes for a holiday season filled with love and joy, and a new year that brings prosperity and happiness.
Alexei Zhamnov with one of his 2 goals tonight as the Jets edge the Boston Bruins 5-4 at Winnipeg Arena. The scoring summary is brought to you by Coca-Cola Classic, the official soft drink of NHL hockey. Jets got off to a quick start tonight. Newman on a power play at 4:15. Domi with his 3rd of the season at 10:11, and 26 seconds later was Zhamnov with his first of 2 as the Jets led it 3-0. But the Bruins came back. Leach before the first period ended. Then in the second period, it was Ray Bourque with his 5th. Early in the third, Portalnov tied it on the power play for Boston, but then the Jets went ahead again. Timo Solani with his 28th of the year at 6:19. Zhamnov with his 2nd of the night at 9:20. That stood up as the winner. Joe Juneau scoring late in the hockey game at 19:59. The final shots on goal tonight, the Bruins 35 and the Jets 28. Jim, the Jets jumped out to a 3-0 lead tonight. Saw the Bruins come back, but I thought they showed a lot of composure, adding those 2 goals and ending up winning the hockey game.
Phil Housley talked about that. The Jets did do a great job. Boston actually started very quickly in the first 60 seconds of the hockey game, and Winnipeg came back and were, I thought, pretty darn good in the opening period. They lost it a bit, as so often happens when you get a lead, and you have to know that Boston under Brian Sutter is going to play 60 minutes, but we talked about momentum, and they did grab that back and won the hockey game as a result.
Well, I know we were all looking forward to seeing Chris King and Ty Domi in a Jets uniform tonight, and Domi really made an impact.
Well, I know you picked him as 3rd star, and people might look at that and say, what's this Buchanan character doing? But if you look at what Ty Domi is supposed to do, he played as good as a star would play in his capacity. He got some shots on net. He wasn't silly. He did take a penalty at the end that I'm sure he'll be reprimanded for, but those things can happen when you win hockey games. The guy's got character. He's got some pizzazz. He's got a big smile when he comes on the ice, and he earned a 3rd star tonight.
Certainly sets up a huge game on New Year's Eve afternoon with the Edmonton Oilers coming to town. Depending on what happens tonight, Jets could be in a 4th place tie.
Well, regardless of whether Montreal beats Edmonton or Edmonton beats Montreal, this is a real test for the Winnipeg Jets. They've slowly been catching up on the Oilers. The Oilers have had a very difficult time of late. There's still lots of confusion and turmoil 200 miles north of Calgary, and with the Winnipeg Jets coming on, with the addition of King and Ty Domi, I would expect to see some fireworks. You better get your seat ready for the game on the 31st.
Happy New Year to you, Jim, and to our viewers out there. And Joe Pascucci has the rest of tonight's out-of-town scores.
All right, let's start with that Montreal-Edmonton game. 3-2 for the Canadiens late in the second period. Schneider, Savard with his 10th, Damphus with his 19th, Hoggood and Klima scoring in 16 seconds apart early in the first period with those goals for the Oilers. Vancouver leading San Jose 4-0. That is late in the first period. Adams is 18th.
Sports Lines sports queen Caroline Corey tells us the 2 had very different reactions to the trade.
The 5'10", 200-pound Domi is a typical Canadian kid who made it to the NHL not on his skill per se, but on grit and determination and a willingness to lose the leather. He is a nifty little skater, though, but his job in no uncertain terms is to be the watchdog for guys like Teemu Selanne, the same role he played in New York the past 3 years.
It's always been my job is to take care of my teammates, and that just comes natural, but I got to show people I can play hockey too, and John's given me that opportunity, and I'm looking forward to playing with all these guys and in front of these fans.
You get the feeling from Domi he's just an eager kid who tries hard to get respect from his peers. His teammate, the 26-year-old King, who also was no stranger as a Ranger in the penalty box, appears a bit more reserved, perhaps still suffering from shell shock over his sudden trade.
I was very comfortable in New York and had an important role the previous 3 years. And when I was first told by Roger, I was a little shocked. But when it finally set in and I realized the reason for the trade, I wasn't at all surprised.
Adjusting from one of the largest hockey markets in the league to one of the smallest will take some time, but the slower pace might be a welcome respite for Domi, who received more than his fair share of prime-time media coverage in the Big Apple.
Well, I never read the newspapers in New York because since my roommate last year, Adam Graves, he broke Mary Lemieux's hand, we kind of come to the conclusion that we're not going to read any more newspapers. They made him out to be a big criminal, and so we never read the newspapers all year. So that's why, I never knew what was said about me or what I said. I just, they asked me questions and I would answer, and sometimes I just let my emotions get to me, and sometimes I say a little too much that I shouldn't. But hey, I can back up what I say, and God gave me a mouth to speak, so I say what I feel.
Uh-oh, looks like we could be in for a dandy season now with Ty Domi in the fold. Caroline Corey for Sportsline.
Okay, hint, it's not hockey for Ty Domi, so it's 2 other sports. We still don't have a winner, so keep bringing those lines. We got those tickets to give away. Now, the 2 pre-tournament favorites for the World Junior Hockey Championships were the Swedes and Russians. The Canadian
Bruins team were disappointed. Fans of good old-fashioned exciting hockey were not. Domi and his new teammates played a solid game, which bordered at times on spectacular, save maybe for a sluggish second period. Traditionally slow starters, that wasn't the case in this game. Watch this one by Thomas Steen. Wow! He sets up Teppo Numminen. 1-0 on the power play. Thomas Steen, how about that one? Then at the midway point, one of the new Jets, the guy who was acquired, but not to score, but he does anyway. Ty Domi tallying from John Druce. The place went nuts. They already love Ty. 26 seconds later, the fired-up Jets had another off the clearing pass from Shannon. Alexei Zhamnov flees the scenes. 1,001 dekes later, Lemelin is beaten with the backhand shoveler. It's 3-0. And this is what it looks like when Boston scores, if you're wondering. Steve Leach shows up for the party a little late, but he still gets in on the action, putting his 13th behind Essenza. Now we'll move to the second period. Ray Bourque comes up with a puck at the point. It's a showdown between him and Essenza. Bourque wins 3-2. Now some great hustle by Domi. Almost restores the 2-goal lead. He comes up with the puck. Oh, gee. His wraparound rolls through the crease. A minute and a half into the third, the Bruins complete their comeback. A perfect pass play. Kvartalnov from Juno and Oates, his 19th. It's 3-all. But the Jets' hero, Teemu Selanne, comes to the rescue. He grabs a loose puck and sweeps it into the corner. His 28th makes it 4-3. But it was Alexei Zhamnov's second of the game, which turned out to be the winner on the power play. He was trying to hit Selanne, but he hit Bourque instead. 5-3. The Bruins got one with a second to go. But the Jets hung on for the 5-4 victory. Leach had the last Boston goal. 2 in a row now for the Jets, putting them in good shape for Thursday's encounter at the arena with the Oilers. Now to Ron Kuipers with the post-game report.
Well, Steve, the Jets' 36th game of the regular season was anything but regular this evening. A crowd of over 13,000 was on hand to watch a head-to-head matchup between the top 2 rookies of the league, but they were also here to witness the beginning of the rough and tough Ty Domi, Chris King era in Winnipeg.
My job is to go to the net, and, I'm not going to get any pretty goals, but I'm not going to get any pretty goals, but I'll tell you one thing, I just get my goals going to the net, and John Druce made a great pass, and I got lucky and banged it in.
I think he, showed that he can skate and get in there and hit, and, his game is, when we have the puck, is going to be go to the net like he did on his goal. It was a good play by Druce. I think they both gave us more of a, they did the thing. I mean, they gave us more of a physical presence.
John brought me in slowly and threw me right out there, and I had to, I know how to play hockey, and that's what he wanted me to do. And obviously a win is what it's all about, and it feels real good right now.
It lays a little off my shoulders now that, I don't have to go out there every time and, be there for everybody. I'm still going to be there, but, I mean, it creates room. I think I'm better off on the ice and in the penalty box, and, it creates opportunities for me. I had a couple opportunities in the first period, and, both those guys are great guys to have on the ice there.
Well, for the first time in a very long time, John Paddock didn't have to talk to the media about a lack of toughness on his squad. That issue was put to bed as soon as Ty Domi stepped on the arena ice. And it's the kind of addition that produces our CKY Impact Player of the Game.
The response from the crowd is just unbelievable, and, they make me feel real good, and, being traded for Eddie Olchuk's pretty tough to fill his shoes. I don't think I'll fill a net like him, but I'll get my share and help this team in different ways.
Oh yeah, it was a big lift for us, and everybody knew that he's gonna be right behind us, and if something happens, he's gonna jump in and help the guys.
Besides scoring his first goal as a Jet, Domi says the biggest and best surprise of the night was the amount of ice time allotted by Coach Paddock.
I never played that much in my whole season in New York. That's, believe it or not, and I didn't really play that much tonight, but. I didn't, the thing is, I just got into the game, and I got a few shifts every period, and, I contributed to the win, and that's the bottom line. We won the game. And
So a huge win for the Jets, which has them pointed in the right direction for Thursday's showdown. And that game will be for 4th place in the division because the Montreal Canadiens did the Jets a favor tonight